going on, everyone, and welcome back to a very special episode of No Neutral, one that's near and dear to my heart, because finally I am reunited with my brother Brian F. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, Rob? It's good to be back.
You know, I miss you, man.
The scenery has changed a little bit. I miss you too, man. I know you're international these days. I don't got no furniture to my name. I'm in this pristine white box here, just chilling, hanging out.
Yeah, Brian, look like you got like a bit of a, I don't know, like a serial killer type of vibe room going on over there, or like a, I don't know, like you're like Dexter or something like that. Have you watched Dexter? Don't even answer that right now, bro, because I don't think I really want to know. But one thing that I do want to make sure that I do is give a big shout out to Nanai and Team No Motion. Definitely been missing you guys too, holding it down for us over there in Japan, and of course all of the fans in Japan who's choosing to watch and show No Neutral love. So of course, one thing that I love is the fact that we finally have CPT Online back. We did have a little break, which is, one of the reasons why we haven't had No Neutral outside of just my brother moving down there to Texas. A player who's not moved down but moved up out of nowhere seemingly has been Ding Chung Chu. At least that's how I was. Z. Look, if that's not how you pronounce it, then Z is the one who's wrong. He's gonna have to lose his Asian card. Brian, how does your girlfriend say that you pronounce it?
Ding Chun Shuo? That's my understanding, but don't quote me on this. We'll share the blame here. We're doing our best here, but we also hear that he goes by DCQ or Ding for short. But yeah, moving on up, this guy has come out of seemingly nowhere. I don't want to say nowhere because that just means we're just not in tune to his grind and what he's been putting the work in. But I was trying to do some research to figure out where this Capcom Cup Qualifier has really come from. So 2020 CPT, I did a little bit of digging. He placed 17th that event. 17th that event, and he lost to, I'm going to maybe mess up another name here, Mai Ken, who got top 8 at this event, and DeWang, another player in the China CPT. So he went from 17th during 2020. Then in 2021, he gets picked up by UIU Go during the little internship sponsorship, their temporary sponsorship program to help highlight some players. And then right after that, he smokes the Intel Regional Qualifier. I believe it was 9-0. He didn't lose a single game in the top 8, which included a lot of players in this CPT top 8, of course. And then he goes on to win the CPT 2021 China Qualifier, losing only, I believe, 2 games in that top 8 as well. So he went from being 17th to being the dominant player in the China region. So that is an escalation.
Ding Chung Chu is someone who, when you look at the consistent performances he's having, right? I think that the FGC is very slow to give someone their flowers or their credit. Someone could be historically very strong and could lose for 700 years straight, Brian. And they are always going to get treated as if they're super godlike. Whereas if someone like, Big Hollywood come out of here, or Brian F come up on like we have, then it's going to be a slower transition. Ding Chung Chu is going to be a slower, people are going to be slower to accept it. Basically, I feel like especially with us having a CPT online or big online tournaments, if the favorite wins, then, oh yeah, of course, they played amazing. If they lose, then it's lag. It's the most annoying stuff in the world, bro. Give that man his credit. He's at least the most informed player in that region and arguably the best player in that region right now.
I mean, I don't think you can deny it. He beat some of the most experienced veterans multiple times at this point in that event. So he's just consistently beating these players. It's not a fluke. It's not a one-time he showed up to CPT and accidentally smoked the entire playing field, right? First of all, that doesn't really happen. These were easy cake wins, as Xiao Hai would like to say. So there was a little bit of a clapback as well. Xiao Hai had his pre-game quote there before they went to play in the winner side of the bracket. Easy cake, I will handle it because everything is under control. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way for Xiao Hai, but I respect the confidence. You know what I mean? We like to see that coming out swinging because Xiao Hai is a veteran of not just Street Fighter, one of the best King of Fighter players of all time, and many, I mean, you just name it, that guy has dominated in almost every game. So to come out as the underdog, the relatively unknown to maybe the external scenes here, and to beat Xiao Hai in this event that confidently, to serve him his cake and get the win as well, I mean, you got to give him his praise. I don't think there's anyone who can doubt that this guy DCQ is the best player in China right now.
Oh my God, Brian! Look, I'm so happy that you said it too. You know what I mean? Like we're on the same page here, bro. It's just pretty much undisputable right now. But with that being the case, Ding Chun Chu, as amazing as you are playing right now, I have been watching your matches closely, and I will see you at Capcom Cup.
Rob, you know that this day had to come. You know we had to have a conversation. It's been a long time coming, and it's a bit of a touchy subject. But I think we have to talk about it since the NACPT East qualifier is coming up. We got to talk about it. Who is the best player in North America?
So, it's not a simple question to answer, and the reason is that it's very nuanced. That's why it's such a good conversation to have. So first and foremost, I have to say that I think that Punk is the best player in North America. Idom and Punk are not fighting to be the best in North America, right? Trying to be the best in the world, all that. Whatever, I don't care. We are having our conversation. It has nothing to do with whatever their aspirations are. So as far as North America, Punk is the best player in North America, skill-wise, I would say, and when he's calm and comfortable. If you put a situation, in my opinion, if there's not as much on the line, then nobody is gonna be better than Punk. Then you could, but if you ask me if it's a clutch situation that's needed, like the most clutch situations needed, in my opinion, it's Idom. And I think that that's very clear, right? That's not trying to tear down Punk. I have no reason to do so. I always have given this dude his flowers. I think he's out of this world, you know, and he does have a big win. People talk about him not winning Capcom Cup and Evo, which is true. However, he does have a big win in E-League.
Right.
Well,
I'm
saying E-League. I'm gonna say E-League specifically though, because we know he's won so much. But my thing is different. Like a premier event, which is extremely out of this world difficult to win, right? However, if you're going to 70 premier events that year, you know you're going to 7,000 premier events that year. So the pressure of that versus the pressure of this Evo is right now is once a year. This Capcom Cup right now is once a year. This is my only chance right here. You know, things like that. Kumite that just passed, for example. We have seen situations where Punk will either get emotional or get worked up. You know, maybe if he wants to win too bad or he got drama like with the Mr. Crimson thing or something like that. If you give me Punk versus Mr. Crimson the next day after Mr. Crimson beat him, with all due respect, because Mr. Crimson was on fire, because he smoked out on him there too. Yeah. I'll make sure we bring that up. He was on fire. But I think 9 times out of 10, Punk wins that.
Right.
But the moment with all the pressure and, you know, he's shaking and stuff. So that's all about Punk. Now, as far as Idom's side of things, his biggest strength, in my opinion, is the fact that whether it's against a bronze rank or against the best player on earth, he plays exactly the same. And that is extremely tough to do. And that's why, to me, he is the best player in North America if it's a clutch situation with my life on the line.
Yeah, I mean, they're both in the same tier. That's all there is to it. I don't think you can do a direct head-to-head. And obviously, the best player, that's always like a loaded question, right? That's why we're having it on this show, because everyone can have their own opinion, and everyone can debate and come from different angles and approach it from a different way, right? So I think the issue is Capcom Cup 2019, Idom comes and wins over Punk. Punk had the most dominant year, only rivaled by his more dominant year in 2017, right? And then his off year in 2018 is still one of the best performances of all time in Street Fighter V, right? So there's no denying that Punk is, like, of all time Street Fighter V, the greatest in my opinion, rivaled by Tokido. That's the one guy he'll bring up to be like, oh, maybe Tokido with results, because if you look at the numbers, yes, those two are the best. Idom, however, you know, he has the nickname Stoop Kid for a reason, because he never left his stoop for years. I was trying to get this guy to get up and stop beating me up online and go to majors for years, and he just didn't travel. When he finally starts putting that effort in and leaving his stoop and going to tournaments in late 2019, he qualifies for Capcom Cup and then wins. And then right after that, we don't get another major appearance between the two because of COVID. So this is where the conversation kind of like comes to a halt, because all we have is online. So they've been playing online, yes, a lot. And the thing is, does that count? Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky. This is where it gets weird because they've been playing in NLBCs, they've been playing it until qualifiers, this, that, and the third, and there's no denying that they're on the same level playing field, right? They're right there. They're right there. Now, does lag or things come into, become a factor in deciding who actually wins that showing? Yes, it does. Am I going to say this online result is 100% the end-all be-all deciding who's a better player? No, but you have enough context to determine that these guys are on the same caliber. The day, it could go either way. I mean, online, Idom statistically is favored, right? Punk definitely still has wins here and there, but it's statistically Idom favored online. Am I going to run that to the bank and say this means Idom is better than Punk? Obviously not. But it's just clear as day that you cannot deny that these two are at that similar level. Now, when you take them versus international competition, I think that's just where we just haven't been able to see that as much, right? We were robbed of this opportunity to see the new generation of Idom and Punk in the NA scene with the international competition, to see if someone like Idom could have a similar run like Punk in 2019, 2017, right? We just didn't get to have that, unfortunately.
I don't think if we did have offline, I don't think Idom would have the run that Punk had. I don't think so.
I agree.
And I'm saying that because I think Punk is better. But as far as a clutch situation, give me Idom. If you can let me invest in a player for a whole year, for a whole CPT year, I want Punk or Taquito. Straight up. Please give me one.
Most consistent. Yeah.
But if it's a clutch situation, if it's a clutch situation like the biggest event, Punk was supposed to win Evo 2017. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to. Punk was supposed to win Capcom Cup 2019.
He really was. I mean,
he was up 2-0.
Up until that point, he was dominating Idom in offline events. He had one loss maybe in 2017.
Soul.
Right.
Yeah. And then he smoked everybody at that Capcom Cup, which again is giving credit to his skill. Nobody's hating, nothing like that. He smoked everybody at Capcom Cup. Then you go up against Idom. This dude, he always destroys. Taquito and Idom are the most clutch players. That is what it is.
Idom's a machine.
And Punk is the best skill-wise.
Right. Punk definitely has the legacy runs. No one can deny he's the most winningest player.
Yes.
That's a fact. Idom, he is a machine. This guy just plays at his peak. It's very rare to see Idom crumble. He just plays the game at such a proficient and mechanical level, and his decision making is always at that peak. It's always at that peak.
Idom is a Capcom Cup champion and has never shown me nerves. I've never seen it. I haven't. He's always just plays regular, bro. He always just plays at 100. When you play him in Battle Lounge, the dude is just, you know what I'm saying? It's the same. It's you, and he doesn't hide anything. He doesn't. He plays his main characters all the time in tournaments. He never even trolls in tournaments. He always goes. There's no OSs. Like if I lose, then I was playing, G. Like I don't play G or something like that. Nah, if he does pick G or something, he's still winning. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I just think people are slow to give people credit.
And that's the online era, right? It's the people are, there's
he won Capcom Cup offline, bro. And we had Street Fighter League. And he won Capcom Cup offline, and we had Street Fighter League. So it depends. Does rings matter to you? How much weight does Idom's Capcom Cup Championship have versus Punk not having an Evo Championship or a Capcom Cup Championship? Does E-League make up for that to you? It doesn't to me, because it's not that's not a recurring. Right. That doesn't have the same prestige behind it, So
I agree. Yeah. I think we all can agree that I think we were a little bit robbed by COVID coming at this. I think we were about to see the beginning of some kind of magical rivalry. I think we all missed the opportunity to see these two play with no excuses, pure offline, pure goodness. But what I'm maybe hoping to see is maybe both of these qualify out of the East. Only one can do it for this event. Only one, and that's where you gotta come clutch. But there are two qualifiers who will come out of NA East, and maybe these two will get the opportunity to play for that high stakes match offline soon.
Yeah, it's an interesting type of rivalry because Idom doesn't say anything. It's more so just Punk will talk trash, or he recently said he had the fakest win in Street Fighter V history and stuff like that about the intel. But that's Punk, I think, being just extremely competitive. This dude Idom is godlike. doing extremely well. And Punk can say that Idom is really good, but to him, I'm sure it's no comparison. Like, how can you even compare it? Well, we compare both of them because of results. And, you know, it's, again, like, it's a beautiful rivalry, and I think that those type of things push both players to greater heights, and we'll see who's pushed to a greater height in this NA East top 16. All right, so of course, there's plenty of things that can be said about the two best players in the entire region and arguably the two best players in the world. But do not get it twisted. This region is extremely stacked, and it's one of the most looked forward to regions, maybe the second most looked forward to region outside of Japan, and at least for me it is, for a good reason. And it's not just because of those top two players. There's a plethora of amazing players in this bracket.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be like NLBC++, right? So
yeah.
they don't got Rob TV and Brian F this time because they moved us out to the Midwest bracket, but they do have some of the best talent in North America, and with one of the most rich variety of character specialists and representation as well, which I think really helps make this a super entertaining tournament to watch. So of course you got Punk and Idom, the two favorites by far to take this event, but there are plenty of players in this bracket who on a great day could give them a run for their money. Now, I'm not gonna say a good day. On a great day, these guys can give them a run for their money. I mean, we got names like Smug. Don't forget about Smug. I know he hasn't really popped off as much online lately, but this guy has been consistently one of the top 5 in North America in that conversation, top 5, doing work in the Capcom Pro Tour consistently. He qualified in 2020. He made it to the CPT, the finals, the event that we had at the end of the season. We have Shine. Shine's been, I feel like he's kind of had his ebb and flow, and I feel like he's coming in hot right now. I feel like he just had an amazing
he's trying to
performance.
ascend, bro.
Right. He just had an amazing performance at the regional finals for Intel. He smoked pretty much the entire bracket, then had a really close set against Punk and won. He fell to Idom in the grand finals. But he's one of those guys who, on a great day, can challenge Punk and Idom. We have Arturo Sanchez. He's also been doing work. He's one of those players who also every once in a while gets that win over Idom. Punk, it's a bit harder for him. But so there's a lot of players in this conversation of who can beat these favorites.
I think Art gets the most wins over those guys out of everyone in the East Coast. It's still not a lot.
No.
You know what I mean? It's still
factually it's not a lot.
It's numerically very low percentage, but it's that very low percentage is just a lot higher than the rest of ours or whatever. Like I don't know. I ain't saying that you're nicer, right? I ain't saying you're nicer than us or nothing like that, though, bro. Don't get it twisted. But you are godlike, so. Art definitely someone who I think has a good chance going up against. Not a good chance, but a chance.
Right. I mean, there's other players like that too. We got Metro M, who has been, he got second place at one of the two NA East qualifiers in 2020, and he's been consistently doing work since then. He kind of blew up on the scene back then in 2020, and NLBC has been a consistent competitor, and he has wins over Idom as well. I don't know if he has any wins over Punk, but he's done the thing, right? What I like about this region and what makes it so exciting to me to watch is, first of all, there's a lot of stored history because NLBC Online has carried the East Coast FGC and put on these players on an amazing platform week after week to build these storylines and get everyone into shape and have something to compete for. And beyond that storyline, we just have such a deep cast of players who then might not be on the S+ tier, right? Punk and Idom, they're S+. They're in the conversation for best in the world. They're playing for best in the world. And then we have a lot of players just beneath that. We have there's Smug right there, who if he can restore his stature here and not be affected by online and play to his level, he can definitely easily win this event. We got Shine right there, who's knocking on that door. And then right below that, there's just 20 or so players who are consistently trading wins and clawing their way up into that next tier. And so that's where I think the big storyline is going to be, who from this cast of 20 or so players is going to ascend and take down one of the established favorites here. And it's not, first place is what qualifies, but the top 3 get money, so these players are going to be hungry to place as high as they can. And I want to see which one of those players is going to do it. I think there's a big chance for a potential upset this weekend.
So, one player that I think is really interesting to look at in this bracket, I do not think that he's like someone who's going to win the tournament or even for sure make top 8. He can. But I will be surprised if he doesn't upset someone, is actually Kachexi. Like, my man's a super wild Urian. Much love to Kachexi. I talk to him sometimes. We train here and there. Super wild, Kage. People are not used to playing against that. He's going to be jumping all over. Actually, I ain't about to give y'all the tech. You're going to have to do your own work and lab work to beat him.
He's going to be jumping. We acting like that's a secret. This guy is in the air 99.99% of the round. The entire round. And that's either to his detriment or to his success, right? Like, it's a different approach. I mean, he's had some upsets before. I remember he took out Knuckle-Dew in one of the 2020 online qualifiers. Yep. And he's a scary player. I think what we call him in the biz is a landmine player. You don't want to step on this guy in the bracket, and you want to be able to step on him and keep moving. But every once in a while, it's going to blow up. So he's at that level where he could beat potentially anyone. Will he go all the way? That'll be amazing to see. I don't know if it'll happen, but yeah, you got to watch out for him for sure. And one other guy I think we forgot to bring up was Mandrake. Mandrake was also, he beat Idom in the second 2020 qualifier. Because, Idom, he won the event, and then there was the whole drama of, should the winner be allowed to re-enter, right?
That was not legit. That Mandrake is mad nice, bro, but that was not like that, though. That Idom situation, that was not a real, no.
No?
Because I remember Idom was wilding. That was in top 8. And that was in top 8 winner side. Right. And since Idom was already qualified, he just picked poison the whole time in the bracket. Mm-hmm. That's when he DQ'd on loser side, if you remember. Against Metro M, I think, because it was like, you know. So he was in that matchup, he would use Laura. Like, he DQ'd and everything. Yeah. So that was not like that. However, I fully agree, though, that Mandrake, I mean, come on. This is someone who's actually won a CPT event offline. Like, that's one of the better players on the entire coast. Arguably the best Urian. I mean, would you want to argue out of him and Safe? They're both up there in that conversation. So I agree with you. He's strong enough that he's not even a landmine.
Right. I mean, he qualified for Capcom Cup that year, right? Like, he did the thing. He did it. He went all the way. He qualified. So I just want to make sure we don't forget about Mandrake. I just feel like with the online era, if people aren't entering the NLBCs, we don't get to see them as much. So Mandrake, he's in there here and there, and I feel like he's ramping up again. He's been doing the Intel qualifiers. He was trying to make his way into that one. So I expect him to do some work for sure. For sure. I mean, we had the Urian Army on the East Coast. We have, I think, Prophet is also in the bracket. Now, Prophet, he's kind of character crisis embodied.
He is, man. I don't know how good Prophet. I don't know if Prophet goes. I don't know, bro. I feel like when I go into ranked, I see that man on.
He literally plays 11.
Ryu. Yeah, like he just plays any Dan. Like, I've seen him play Honda, and it's really tough to if you don't know who you're gonna play.
Anyone else you want to bring up? I think we also have Kami. Kami, who was in the Intel Regional Finals, the East Coast, in there as well.
Kami, did a good job to qualify for that. Mm-hmm. Hopefully his setup is right for this event. But of course, Kami, a homie of mine, and I always love seeing his set, and I think that he's ascended a whole lot, especially since that V-Trigger 2 came out. The V-Trigger 2 buff with the auto time explosion. But
AKA when it came out.
When it came out, honestly, when it came out, it was automatically.
It was not good. People were talking that thing up for so long. When Seth first dropped, it was not good. The fact that you could just V-reversal every single time, it just made it such a highlight.
And you're giving up V-Trigger 1 for that.
Right. But now you actually get punished for V-reversaling, so you have to take the mix. So I think he's been leveling up with that a lot.
He has been leveling up with that a lot, man. And I feel like everyone in this bracket right now, outside of Punk and Idom, they're in a different tier. Of course, they're trying to win in different ways, but everyone else is definitely trying to level up as far as their names, as far as their the way that they're perceived. Even whether you're somebody who's as famous as Smug or someone who's lesser known like Spaceboy, who's definitely someone who can give people a whole lot of trouble in this bracket. Regardless, you are not looked at, just like myself, just like Brian, as being at that same tier, that same skill level as the Punks and the Idoms of the world right now. So with them being right there in your bracket, everyone's looking. We just had a whole segment about Punk versus Idom. this is your chance to show us that it's you who we actually should be talking about. Right now, everything is on the line. This is the CPT NA East Top 16.
You shouldn't only admire my work, but also concentrate a little more on your lessons, Mana. What's the meaning of fate? You shall know. You should try to learn to use your power a little better.
off to Montana.
These matches are going to be even more ridiculous.
If you know anything about Street Fighter, you do not doubt the GOAT.
My man is always hitting go. You thought I was playing? Oh, you're hella dead. Help me out, Nadeshko.
Look how much it means to him. Wow.
Not over. That's not over. Are you serious? My man is reading right now. My man is reading.
Another chapter of the Capcom Cup continues here in 2021 with the North American East region, the first qualifier actually for the North American East. And I'm actually very, very excited to see it, considering what has been going on in the world of the East, really. These guys have been duking it out pretty much all month long in more ways than one. But to start things off, my name is Vicious here with Ultra David. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm really excited too. I think this is great. Live from Burbank, California, of course, here on the southwest end of this continent. We're going to be looking at players all over the eastern side. And it really is all over the eastern side. We have players all the way from southern Florida up to Montreal at the top.
That's correct.
And that's going to be a pretty big distance. Players who are very strong all across that region. And look, this is a region that has some of the absolute best players in the world. So we're going to be getting quite a treat. Here you got a look at the players, many of whom have a ton of experience against each other. DR Mandrake and Spaceboy, I saw play not even that long ago on ECT's Community Throwdown. Shine versus Punk, we saw that one not long ago.
Literally last couple of days, actually.
Lazinoco versus iDrop. Idom versus Child. Again, we got a bunch of different characters on this list. We'll talk about it more in detail when we get to each match, but a bunch of different characters on the list. Players from all over the eastern seaboard.
And we also take a look at the losers side of things as well, where we have Delta Red, a.k.a. Chris Bett, going up against young Arturo, as well as Jip the Boss, who is a name that I actually personally have not seen yet. I feel like this is the first time where we really get to encounter this man, this individual, going up against Kami, as well as Smug versus Z's Nuts. We're going to have a fun time with that one. Flux Wave Z and Metro M. Again, a lot of familiar faces, and only like, you know, maybe like two that I personally haven't seen as much.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, and again, ton of different characters on that list. Players from all over the East Coast. We're definitely feeling smug about that name down there in the third match. We're going to be looking forward to that one. That's going to be a lot of fun to do. But again, going to be super cool to watch. We're here to try to crown NA East's champion. One of these players will make it into Capcom Cup. Look, I'm stoked about it. I know we've been having a lot of great Street Fighter over this past month. There's been a lot of great things happening, not just on the big end, like with Intel, but also, as always, with very regular weekly stuff going on all throughout the community, which has been fantastic for continuing to put together a lot of content and a lot of events for people to play in and to watch.
Yeah, we're still very much so active with every single local that's been going on, online, local, right? Yeah. West Coast, East Coast, international, you name it, we pretty much have been doing it, right? So there's just been nonstop Street Fighter V action, more so now than ever. I feel like it's been building up like exponentially as the months go on, and we have so much more to look forward to, right? We just announced Red Bull Kumite not too long ago as well. That's happening in Vegas, and like I don't even remember what the date is.
In November, I think. Yeah,
November. We have so many things going on, right? November 13 and 14. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, gotcha. But as much Street Fighter there is to go around, we do have, again, very, very talented players here for the NA East, as usual, right? The topic of discussion has been, you know, who's the strongest region for North America? Undoubtedly, it's been the East for a while, and I'm going to say that with confidence, no bias. I mean, I am a West Coast person. As much as I kind of don't want to say it, it's absolutely true.
I hear you.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah, I don't think that I can disagree with that too much. I just think, I mean, when you have a region that has a player that's been consistently getting into grand finals even before the world shut down, a player who won Capcom Cup, I don't know if you guys heard about that, but a player who did that is from this region, and we're going to get to see him in the top 16. So it really can't be argued too much that it's a very strong region for sure.
Never heard of the guy. Not ever.
We'll get to it in a little bit. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we're going to start with Mandrake and Spaceboy. That's going to be the first match that we'll have up here. So Mandrake, a qualifier into Capcom Cup himself. Obviously, things went weird that year, but he was a qualifier for it. And he and his Urian, I think, continued to look fantastic. Spaceboy, a very, very strong Sakura who's had a lot of success online as well. Let's hear what they had to say.
And we see here Spaceboy coming in with, I've been having a lot of practice against Urian, so it should be an interesting match. Mandrake is a good player, though, but regardless, I feel like my practice will yield me a result I'm happy with, win or lose. And I like that mentality. Moving on to Mandrake as well, as he gets into his matchup.
Spaceboy's a tough opponent. Very aggro player. Last time he surprised me with a Seth pick. This time I'm ready. And let's be real. There's only one player that can play V-Trigger 2 Seth. Oh, man. V-Trigger 2 is a terror this season, I feel. That thing is super legit.
The way that Cien has been using that VT2, I'm telling you, it has to be that's the person that Mandrake has to be referencing, right? Because, man, there was some really explosive plays we've seen with Seth. But we digress, or I digress. Urien versus Sakura. That should be the play, right? Again, despite Mandrake saying there has been a surprise Seth pick, I don't know if that's going to be the case, at least for this particular matchup. Who knows?
When I saw them play not long ago, like I said, at ECT's Community Throwdown, I believe it was Sakura, if I recall correctly. But hey, Mandrake says that they've played more recently than that. So I guess we'll see. I'm sure it's Urien on one side. What do we got on the other?
Oh, boy. It's going to be the Seth pick.
It is the Seth.
I like
Okay,
that. I like that. Not too many surprises, though. Again, Mandrake has prepared himself for this particular matchup. Personally, I want to see the aggressive play, as earlier mentioned. We'll see if it comes through. Already onto the V-skill. That was immediate.
As fast as possible. In there instantly. So stealing it from Urien, V-skill 1.
And
Very
like
quickly into the
gap
corner.
Too. Did you see that, using that V-skill tackle immediately after the spin kick?
Yeah, you can definitely see. Oh, wow. Amazing whip punish. And Spaceboy's already in here. Into the corner.
Oh, that's not going to fly. There's no way. Back throw will do it. He knew that would have been stun and game.
Hold on, though. Completely different story all of a sudden as Mandrake gets the pressure. It's going to turn it into some kind of mix-up. Where are we going?
To the same side. I like the use of the V-break there, knowing full well the mirror was going to be absolutely meaty. Crouching heavy kick to seal it. A very impressive start for Spaceboy.
Yeah, got into that corner fast. And not the same opening, but same idea of playing that offense.
Dropping right into his face. Mandrake was not ready for it. Still manages to get the throw. And Spaceboy just using a couple of norms to keep him away, but the V-skill still manages to land. Oh,
wow. Okay, I love the counter poke. Here's that V-trigger too. The time was you just got to be able to do V-reversal. Not anymore, friends.
And I do like the defense there from Mandrake, but as of right now, Spaceboy is in the corner, but does get hit by a metallic sphere. Not much of it. Mandrake not ready for the air approach. To be fair, that could have been easily an axe kick. Just like that, but again, doesn't really reap the benefits on hitting that EX headbutt. And again, the defensive decisions from Mandrake hasn't fully been there. Even in that last instance, right? Trying to keep Spaceboy contained, that's pretty important. Just slightly off the mark and just cannot control the pace that Spaceboy's been playing at. And then after that, using the defensive decision as using the headbutt, just not really getting the most of it, that kind of deters your mental stack.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough for him finding offense in the first place, but turning defense into offense was tough, too. It's going to be something to keep in mind. Happy to see that he went back to the down fierce. Yeah, he tried it before and it lost to jump roundhouse, but there you see the counter against the axe kick. He's at a safe spot. That means it's Urien's turn.
I gotta say, the way that Spaceboy's been using the V-Skill 1 as Mandrake, I'm thinking to myself, it's like, all right, well, maybe I could react to it, probably jump it, or maybe read it and try to go for a jump anyway. That was the low.
It's so good now.
I love the way it is right now. It's an absolute problem.
It's back, by the way. Could have another one. Probably looking for activation here.
Oh, that could have been pretty dangerous. You know the activation's coming in raw.
Oh, but you're still going to take the hit. It doesn't work like that anymore. It doesn't work like that anymore.
You have to hold it now. You absolutely have to hold it. As soon as you V-reversal, you're in that position to get hit by the active frames of that orb.
Yeah, that explosion later. Oh, man.
Even worse. I'm glad it's there now.
No, me too. Me too, honestly. Yeah.
Gets the forward throw now. Spaceboy. What's going to be the meaty pressure afterwards?
Dude, his V-skill usage is so strong, not just for control, but also because he's been able to get triggers so quickly out of it.
Right.
You get a little bit of that part even on block.
Yeah, he's willing to give up his turn so long as he gets the fun started earlier, right?
Yeah, and I mean, again, we're in top 16 here. This is the first of two situations. Spaceboy is on match point.
Oh. Yeah, you had to V-shift Fuel Mandrake. That was going to be an instant trigger activation from Spaceboy regardless, and I like this switch around from Mandrake. I've been so focused on how often Spaceboy, or like when Spaceboy was going to let go of the trigger, that I didn't get to see the big significant changes from Mandrake. I got to admit it, I'm just waiting for the party to start.
He's fighting outside of that V-skill range or way up and close of it. Instead, yeah, outside into, right, rather than being in that range where he was getting caught before.
Right. Oh.
Again, that down fear. I mean, it's legit, but it's just a question of when to bring out the timing on it. And he's not been guessing right on it pretty consistently.
To be fair, I'll say Spaceboy has kept it pretty ambiguous for the most part.
Absolutely.
Mandrake going for a different option this time, just very narrowly avoiding it.
Again, you can see Mandrake playing around that V-skill.
At that point, I'm looking for Mandrake to probably hunt it out air to air, maybe as an option.
Well, you can definitely jump over, but the block was there. It still isn't. It still is turn. There's a few different times where Spaceboy. No, the anti-air was there. Not into anything else, but it's still pressure.
How often do you get to see that?
Oh, there's a dangerous Urian, though. What a
He
call
already
out on
knew.
the jump time.
No! The wrong mad cradle. If it was the heavy punch cradle, he was actually dead. Mandrake would have ate the full critical arc, but now it's Sandwich City through the mirrors. Do not get clipped, but it's too late. Your defense is just not all the way there when the mirror is present. It happens, man. Happens to the best of us. But Mandrake, I got to say, he was actually dead. He was actually dead. Spaceboy, without a doubt, could have gone through the light conversions. Heavy mad cradle into critical art.
I mean, it didn't even need to be DP'd, right? I mean, that wasn't even required.
Fair.
But look, for both players, there were a couple things that could have been better. Mandrake then actually kind of dropped the punish, to be honest, but had to get things started.
True.
So it was a little bit of weirdness. Okay, fine. We're tied up 1-1. Again, this is the first of two.
Oh. You already see the normals coming out from Spaceboy. Mandrake trying to duke it out as well. The big tech now, and immediately contested with a medium kick. And
that range, I'm telling you, he's controlling it so well with V-skill.
Whew. I'm really liking this from Spaceboy. Mandrake, again, he said it earlier, he's going to be ready for that Seth pick. But as it stands right now, Spaceboy has been dominating a good majority of the rounds. Considering it's tied 1-1, sure. But look at the life lead right now. Spaceboy has done a fantastic job of playing out the neutral game and forcing the aggression towards that corner.
So it's almost there with the V-skill startup. Not quite, but Mandrake, yeah, okay. He has the trigger, and here it is. The hit comes. It's going to be a lot of stun. It's not quite enough.
Oh, nice
Spaceboy
work.
trying to do something. Maybe it was a 3-framer. Maybe it was a jump. Who knows? Whatever it is, it's match point Mandrake.
Yeah, we did see a counter hit on the side of Mandrake. It could have been a button coming in from Spaceboy. What? How often do you get to see that as like a way to anti-air? The down heavy punch, the sweep technically? Oh, no whiff punish on board.
Could add a little more on that, but for Mandrake, at least there's the corner now. He's at a safe spot.
That's the answer right now.
Absolutely.
Again, 2 in a row. He's found the right angle, and that's the kind of pocket he wants to play at for the anti-air. And here comes another sorry situation. Oh, he was not sorry at all, actually. Spaceboy with the trigger 2 activation, completely keeping Mandrake in his tracks. I feel like not even like a V-break would be able to save him. I mean, you're in block center for quite a time.
Man. Yeah. Gotta take the mix-up. A little bit of forward movement from Mandrake there. We haven't seen the huge jump.
Yes!
We had not seen a huge jump in like. Instead,
that's the thing I was looking for. I was waiting for Mandrake to make that solid read against Spaceboy and catch up to the V-skill usage.
it's definitely a more active style right now by Mandrake.
Metallic Spheres coming out. You mentioned that activity coming out.
It's the corner as Spaceboy. Anti-air, okay, a little bit of running away from Mandrake. He's just trying to reset the situation. Will he get the chance? I don't know, because Spaceboy's here. The corner, the coast to coast.
Forward throw again, another one incoming. If it's not death, it's going to stun, that's for sure.
No!
That was an axe kick attempt, it had to be. Here comes the mirror walking up with that intimidation. Not ready for the anti-air for the other side.
Plus, Spaceboy trying to just find the final hit. It's plus frames for Mandrake. If he can find one more correct combo, maybe for him. Oh, what a situation.
Man.
What a call by Spaceboy. Seeing that there was no red bar on Mandrake's side, no way to get away once that had been blocked, and who expects the axe kick at that range at that time? Certainly not Mandrake. What a call by Spaceboy. I love that.
Not us either. Without a doubt. I was waiting for like the chip sequence to happen.
Yeah.
But
Something else.
Not through ways of a raw spin kick at that distance in the corner. Like I thought it would have been like, he was going to wait and bide his time, go into a normal, and then activate into it. But my man just went in raw.
Sure did. Sure did. Shoutouts to Spaceboy. Moving on into the top 8. Congrats to him on that. Love that Seth. Playing very, very well. We didn't get a chance to say that. Mandrake gave us a fact about himself. I didn't know this. I'll let you all know. He's a big fan of low-light photography and filmmaking.
It's a little too late for that, I feel like.
I think that's pretty cool, though.
I think it's great.
He's going to get to relax. Well, he's going down to the loser side. Not relaxing yet, but maybe later on today I'll get some time in the dark room.
I see.
Next.
I see. So we do have Shine versus Punk. This is a matchup that we, or at least us on the table, have been looking forward to. Considering what had transpired at the Intel World Open, we saw what happened in that losers side bracket when it came to the matchup. Right, Punk was actually sent down there by Idom a couple days ago, and then Shine actually managed to get the round convincingly over Punk. But is it going to be the same story here and now? Punk has actually changed up his location to ensure the best possible results in his gameplay. Something you might have missed, right? He's been talking about it. He's like, you know what? I've moved back up to Philly just for this very moment to ensure that I can get the best possible gameplay.
Interesting. That's. I guess that makes sense. You know, if you have a problem and there's a way to identify and fix it, go for it. I think that's very cool. It's very cool to see him do that. Let's hear from the players, both again, Shine and Punk. Who do we got up first? It's going to be Panda Punk. Shine's one of my best friends. I wish him all the luck since we struggle and play C tier only. Fun fact, when asked, what character are you going to be using today? Punk said, quote, yes.
That is indeed the perfect answer, as this man can play pretty much anybody at any level. It's actually ridiculous.
I mean, we've seen it. We've seen in weeklies and even more significant stuff than that. Intel. Characters that I didn't really expect to come out. And
he
there
was
they were.
bodying people with cannon.
He
It
sure
looked so
was.
free.
He sure
it was actually
was, yeah.
wild. I loved it. Moving on into Shine's quote before he gets into his matchup. I have to play my C tier, brother.
my God.
Again, it looks like. Shoutouts to Punk as always. I'm ready to bring my best, as I'm sure he is also. Without a doubt, this man was traveling to get himself ready for the best possible matchup. I can't emphasize that enough. That is a pretty big commitment to ensure the best possible results. And against, your brother, you want to make sure it's top tier. Not like the characters they use.
Huh? Yeah, apparently not. I feel like there was some secret messaging that was agreed upon in advance here. Like this, they talked about that. Come on, that didn't happen on accident. No way.
As right as you may sound, or as right as that may be, I feel like there is also a chance of coincidence. Like the way that
the PR company had the messaging for sure. They sent the email to both of these guys.
Oh,
I get it. I know.
I don't know, man.
All right. So, I mean, the question is, again, which character we are going to be seeing from Punk. This is, of course, a pretty high-stakes situation. It's somebody who he really respects,
right.
Shine, who has great, records himself, even just recently beating Punk. I don't know if I'm expecting anything out of the ordinary in terms of Punk's character selection here. I feel like this is the time when you go into the max level. But what do you think?
That's going to be a tough call, honestly. I think you are right, but also I wouldn't be surprised if he went to the Ken pick specifically for Shine. Not even just a Buki, but for Shine.
Okay.
Because there's a lot more that goes into it, right? If you're playing somebody that you're extremely familiar with, oh boy, there was definitely... okay, so to be fair, though, we have seen Shine with Cody.
I mean, we've seen them play both of these characters. It's true. And actually, I've liked... Oh, my God. All right. CFN's already ahead of us. I have seen some good stuff out of this Claw as well. But, I mean, dude, we're here to make top 8 at CPT NA East. It's Shine and it's Punk, and it's Cody and Claw.
Yeah.
Would not have expected it. I mean, I also don't feel like there's anything nefarious here where there's, they've just both agreed to sort of not take this seriously. They definitely are both taking this seriously.
Yeah. It's like now it's kind of like really challenging themselves as to how well they can play the entire roster.
But I don't know if it's even, is it that, or do they have some knowledge about what works against each other? I'm very curious to know. Like I said, I don't think it's them just being jerks about it.
No, without a doubt, I don't think it is either.
All right, it's even Knife Cody? Okay.
He's used that. He was using that at the Intel World Open.
I mean, it's gotten help over the years.
This is the character he used a couple of times to challenge Punk the God, or Pink the God, excuse me. Let me fix my face. But as it is right now, Punk making pretty quick work, or at least significant work against that Cody. 34 seconds on the clock, but at least 70%.
Yeah, and a lot of that was whittling down.
Yeah, nothing too big, nothing too great on the mix-ups. He was just pretty much poking away at Shine and just dominating, showing that that dominance, I guess, in the neutral game. Oh.
Didn't expect a hit. Punk just out of there. I really like this rangy style from Punk right now. He's outside of the ranges that Cody can really attack from. If Cody can get zonked, fine, okay, he gets a little bit of pressure. But Punk has V-reversal out of that if he has that bar. If not, he just takes the mix and then walks back out to a range where he's more comfortable.
And he's not being an aggressive nuisance that we're used to seeing. Rather, he's very passive and reactive to anything that Shine delivers. But this is where I want to see Punk kind of, show us a little bit of a different game style. Let's see what happens. All right.
The overcommitment is it super? It's not yet.
Not yet. Doesn't even need it, I feel like. But he's going to go into the critical art. Either way, it's going to be a chip scenario. Punk with a very commanding performance in the game, the first game. Nothing too fancy.
No.
Nothing too technical. It was all pretty much solid, neutral ground game.
It was ground game. It was anti-air the couple times it needed to be. It was defense in terms of V-reversaling out. Once, when there was an EX projectile on the screen, he backed off and then all of a sudden moved forward and blocked in a way that Shine didn't expect, it seemed. We're going back. I was interested whether we would go back instead to the character select, but no, it's instead Cody again.
And now it's a whole different play style. We just saw start, jump in light into the throw from Punk. He's one of the best in the world for a reason, man. This guy is completely ambiguous when it comes to figuring out the strategy he wants to employ at that moment.
Okay, the link, yeah.
Deploy.
Shine has the corner, but you can tell he's being cautious. I think he was expecting some kind of a jump, some kind of an escape. Oh, man. Punk has guessed right about how to handle that projectile each time.
Oh, and just so happens that Shine catches a medium punch from the side of Punk, loses the claw. It was about time, actually. There was a lot of HP being lost while the claw was on. And now the mask as well. Watch out for that command grab. Just regular grab, actually.
It's got super, though, and given the right circumstance, could be very damaging. Early roundhouse. Punk is definitely a threat. Ah, okay. Shine ready.
I was waiting for it. Like, Shine could have had maybe a bigger punish off of the blocked slide that Punk had thrown out earlier, like seconds earlier, right? But Shine, I guess, just wasn't ready for it. It might have been like a range issue also.
Beautiful whip punish. Just like that, it's almost
what a time to interrupt. Are you kidding me? This man.
I mean, clearly they know each other very well. Again, they've played each other 100 million times.
Starting off with the projectile.
Could be an activation point here. That's what he was going for. Punk understood.
And now checking with the meaty punches again. The jump-ins again. Not really contested from Shine, but it's kind of tough. The spacing that he's taking it at. Big jump-in coming from Shine now. Punk is on the back foot a little bit. Does have V-reversal on lock.
Is he going to chance to get out of this, to block anything in V-rev? No.
He's holding it. He's going to be hanging out. Now I'm thinking to myself, he's going to use it for some sort of opening for a combo. No, sir, not enough time.
I think the intention was to try to find the escape right there, but the counter poke came at just that moment from Shine. I don't know if that was slide intended into activate or what, but in just that moment is when Shine brought out his own button to counter poke there, end up getting the kill. Now, look, I like a lot about the claw, to be honest. I feel like he's, as we've been talking about, controlled a lot of situations. As this goes on, though, we've seen some jump-ins that have worked from Shine. We've seen pressure that has worked more often from Shine. Okay.
Immediately going back to the Vega. Okay, I like this. Oh. And this is going to be very interesting now because Punk, being the very reactive player that he is, has been playing a very reactionary or reaction-style game against Shine outside of just poking, right? Again, checking him air to air this time.
Shine's ready, though. Look at this range that we're seeing from Punk. It's a little bit closer in than we saw before, and yet not so close that it's comfortable for Cody.
Ooh, I feel like he caught a normal. There was a back throw there from Shine, but I feel like there was a startup of something. The pressure.
What a block. Great awareness.
Checking with the forward pierces as well. Shine is just trying to move his way in with the knife. There's the anti-air.
Okay, well, didn't quite work out as Punk wanted, I'm sure. The knife's gone. Shine's down in life. He's got to build a little bit.
And I feel like he's been swinging a lot more than Punk, which is kind of funny because the life deficit is pretty significant.
Maybe trying to get it confirmed. It wasn't there. And Punk is farther away now. You see that range? It was so much closer in from before. Now he knows he just needs a couple more hits. He's looking for the sealers.
Oh, maybe that was what he was aware of or being weary of, considering the amount of EX bar Shine had Out of there. Doesn't even matter. He's going to run the time. I'm telling you right now. Oh,
That's
boy.
what he'd like to do. I'm not sure he'll get a chance. It's 11 seconds again.
I thought he was going to do it, but now he's just going in 2 times over. Gets anti-aired. Here comes Shine. What a time to use that view reversal, perfectly threading the needle. You already knew. You knew. I like that. He conditioned him so well, by the way, to anticipate maybe a normal air approach. And at the last second, dashing in his face. That was so smart from Punk.
It's match point.
And you got to think of yourself as Shine is like, how am I going to close the gap on this guy, man? I can't figure out when he wants to throw out his normals.
It's a slow process, you can tell.
But the normals that Punk has been using has been so deliberate. It's been sending so many mixed messages for Shine, but Punk is like, yeah, I know exactly what I want to do to control you at least.
Here's Shine getting great awareness for himself. The interruption comes, but it's not enough.
Ooh, big whiff punish. I'd imagine Shine wanted to go for that to hit and get a trigger activation, but now what a time to interrupt. Ugh.
One of the offense, and Punk's very dangerous now. He does have super.
Yeah, one touch could potentially kill from Punk. Oh,
Oh,
that's it!
no!
What?
Oh,
Listen,
wow.
so he walked up. If you were to slow that down, he legit just walked up and jumped. And so did Shine. He walked up and jumped out of CFN.
Yeah, he definitely jumped out.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And what a call out. I could tell Shine was shaking his head. Like, he wasn't like fully defeated, but like, you know, kind of sad about it. You could tell in that very moment when Punk called him out, intentionally getting hit and jumping out that way to get the reset, you knew Shine was like, that was actually pretty good. That was checkmate. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here and move on to losers. But man, Punk advancing into top 8 as expected, but in that fashion, completely unexpected.
So it'll be Spaceboy versus Punk tomorrow. That's going to be very interesting to watch. I mean, again, just to recap, Punk versus Shine to make top 8 at CPT. Not Ibuki. No Karens. It was Claw and Cody. Very interesting. I mean, again, we've seen them play these characters before, but in this situation, it was cool. It's definitely a blast to watch.
I don't think there would be any other player that would bring that character out from either from Shine or Punk. I mean, like if Punk were to face off against anybody else, it would probably be the Ken pick with Shine. Actually, I don't know about Shine. Maybe he would pick Cody either way.
I mean, look, they're both definitely good. They have been improved a lot. If you haven't watched this game in a couple seasons and you're like, these two characters, then like really they have gotten better for sure. But still,
Not
very
the
cool.
ones-
Not the ones that we were expecting, but it was
Yeah.
awesome to see. All right, next one that we're going to have up for you all, going to be another good one as well. I mean, basically each one of these is going to be, we'll have Lazinoco and Idom coming up next. Let's hear what they had to say.
And so Lazinoco coming in from Florida and Idom from New York as they get themselves ready. We do have their quotes as well. Lazinoco as a guild player making rounds lately, saying it's been a while since I've faced Idom, and since then he's become a force to be reckoned with. Just happy to be here, and I'll give it my best shot. Okay. All we could really ask for, man. As long as we get to see that guild perform in the top 16, I'm satisfied with that.
It's cool, yeah, definitely. Another character who's gotten a little bit more help of late in the last patch. Pretty cool to see. And then from Idom, what do we got here? I can't believe they let me get this far. well, you know, in terms of who they beat to get here, for Idom, among other players, Amistad the God. However, Lazinoco actually beat Smug in order to get into this situation.
Ooh, okay. So that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big deal. We saw the loser side with Smug down there. Now we know why. Lazinoco with Gil, who has been pretty lackluster. Considering the help that he got, a lot of folks still believe that he is amongst the lower tier characters.
For sure. It's true. Yeah, I mean, he does. What is he? He builds more meter now, like when he's doing retribution stuff. That's cool, I guess. It does mean that he gets super in V trigger a little bit more frequently, so damage output's like a little bit more in some cases. But that plus other stuff, he snowballs a little bit better this season. Not this most recent patch, but this season does that a little bit more strongly. He's got a 2-frame parry. Did you know about that?
It feels good. It feels good.
Did you know that?
So that's going to be the character of choice for Lazinoco. Very excited to see it. I drop, however, that quote, it's like, I can't believe they let me go
What are you
get this.
doing?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
You're playing Karen.
You
Rob
get-
TV has said this so many times. Karen players don't lose. What do you mean? I can't believe they let you get this far.
He's
You're
a
an
good
ultimate
player.
grandmaster. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
come on.
Give yourself a little bit more credit, fella.
Come on. I feel like both of these players actually should have given themselves a little bit
That's
more
what I'm
credit.
saying.
The other one's just happy to be here. Come on.
Come on, brothers.
You earned it.
Here we go. Idom versus Lazinoco, already checking to see if he's going to go for the air approach. What a big buffer.
Yeah, you're seeing the mobility of this character in Gil. A little bit of space control. In terms of footsies, obviously Karen's going to have the better. It's just that he does have good buttons. This has been improved this season, for example.
But still, against Karen, you are going to get that punish. That coral kick is not going to be too great to use in neutral, considering the amount of damage Karen can dish out. Okay, here we go. The Flame Javelin still hits from back there. The Flame Javelin is so good.
Yeah, it really made it work for himself, that's for sure. And back to a little bit of space control. Again, that mobility's there. He's probably hesitant to throw out a fireball at this point. Oh no, the two-framer!
That's kind of rough. I mean, I imagine he was anticipating Idom canceling it into the Rekka series.
Probably, yeah. Oh, okay, nice. Idrop's out of there. Lazinoco's got to make the comeback. A super is plausible, though. If he can find the right hit. Question is, how's that going to happen as Idom is really just playing very cautiously at the moment?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I was going to say more often than not, Karen's going to be controlling that mid to close quarters way easier in comparison to Gil. And even if Gil managed to get like a single hit into a lariat, into critical art, it wouldn't have killed. I don't think it would have killed.
A little bit
I
too
say
far.
that, but we'll see.
Yeah. He's got some sequences that could be really damaging.
Oh, that was a little wonky, but Idom dishing out the damage, spending the meter as he should. Forward throw into the corner. Still within range for a medium, and finds the activation.
Okay, half the trigger's gone.
Ooh!
Yo! Is that stun? It is. With super, what do you got here? Or is this mix-up still?
I would expect, okay.
Okay. What do you got?
Are you dead? Don't tell me
Is
you're dead.
the whole red ball? Oh my god, it's death.
Are you actually dead?
Look at the red ball
43
right
hits.
there. What?
Are you actually dead? Lazinoco. He was holding on to that since last round, so it was about time. And we see the kind of explosion Gil can make, being able to snowball a lot easier, as you mentioned. All that with that V trigger. Even then, I feel like if you had like maybe half a stick of butter, you would have been able to build that critical art.
Yeah, it might be. Out of there, if nothing else. And in each case, as soon as he's gotten triggered, he's activated as soon as possible. And I think you can probably see why. He gets some damage. The whiff punish is there.
And I like that jump reset there from Lazinoco, trying to test to see if Idom would commit to a normal after that stand light kick hits.
Really, one of the few situations of Idom moving forward was that jump right there. And now at this point, it's back to that style of play he had before, where it's very patient. Maybe whiff punish is the idea. He's had that a bunch. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Not whiff punish with a button, but with the special move right there. It's exactly what he's looking for.
I can't tell if it's one of those things where he forgot that Karen had EX meter, or maybe he was just trying to get rid of a bar. But still, it was not going to be pretty for him, regardless of the outcome, or what he was looking for, really.
Really good awareness to still pay attention to the dashboard in there as well. He knows he needs to get in, but still paying attention to the opponent's movements too. Wow, okay, there was trigger just in case there for Idom. It's going to take game number one. That style from him, that mid-range, the whiff punishing, again, that's going to be huge in this matchup. We knew that going into it. Her footsies are so strong and lead into such good stuff. That was a huge, huge tale of why that ended up being a game for Idom there.
Oh, no, without a doubt. Like, again, we've seen Karen players and the normals. We've seen Karen for years now. We've seen the kind of normals that could dominate the neutral game, and I don't think Gil has enough to contest it, right? You would have to play that kind of reactionary style or whiff punish as much as possible instead of risking your limbs out there, because she can easily convert into big damage, Oki scenarios, and push you to the corner faster than you expect.
Hey, man, maybe your win condition is just that you can do 55% damage.
That's literally it, I feel like. With Gil, get beat up so much to the point where you get to finally unleash your V-trigger, but then it comes to the point where, how am I going to actually activate this thing? I can't hit her.
I do like the back and forth that we're still seeing from Lazinoco, but oh no, the one jab was there. Not the second.
A little bit of a fancy frame kill there, building up some meter and the throw afterwards. Idom still controlling the pace pretty well, and that had to be spent. Lazinoco was trying to find his way out of the corner. If not, he was going to drown.
The
Retribution
damage
number
is
1.
here. It's going to get pressure.
Triple
What a button
dash.
timing from Idom. And out of the corner. All right. Great defense. Active defense turned it directly into offense. Harassing now in the corner, but still, it's not overzealous pressure. Oh, now turning it on.
Idom has gotten away with so many of those dashes, the command dashes after a normal. Lazinoco hasn't been able to contest it. There hasn't even been signs of an Orochi afterwards, but you could see Idom again. Yeah, just waiting for it. No, didn't go for the finisher. He went for the Mujin Kyuk, and it's just fine. That's just fine either way. Idom getting the back throw. Man, so again, Lazinoco has already shown that card of trying to escape. Idom completely ready for it. I do like that adaptation and the way that he was playing earlier, right? Just in that corner with the control, low medium kicks for the most part, just waiting for that escape option. And then back to that neutral game we go. Idom still dominating it. Delayed on the crouch medium punch. Big confirms here.
Still harassing at that same spot, not letting Lazinoco out. Hard for him to press buttons. He obviously wants to activate. Okay, yes.
There's the retribution onto the other.
And keep in mind,
lariat.
he's got that super. If he finds the right hit now, no!
No!
We saw that amount of life get melted last game, and this is the drop.
Could he have initiated the same kind of sequence while she was running up? I wonder. But either way, that story's long gone. Idom in full control yet again. No confirm. Could have got the rest of the Tenko, or excuse me, Rekka sequence.
Yeah, but at this point, even chip is a big problem for Lazinoco here. Yeah, that's where Idom's gonna go, and it's enough.
More
and
than
it's
enough. Yeah.
for Idom to take it 2-0. Definitely some flashes of great stuff out of Lazinoco, but for the most part, I gotta say that mid-range control was killer for Idom.
Without
The
a doubt.
confirms were almost all there. A lot of them led into big damage and into pressure, as they do. And even on top of that, you know, there were some situations where Lazinoco did have pressure. He had the corner a couple of times, and Idom jumped out, right? Pressed the button at the right time, jumped out. That active defense was really key as well. So it was kind of all sides for Idom as to why he moves into top 8.
Yeah, and I still don't believe him when he says, I can't believe they let me get up
Come
here. Come on,
on.
man. Did you see how he played out that matchup? He knew exactly what he was doing, threading the needle with the normals against Lazinoco, and you see it right there. That's the results, 2-0. But Lazinoco, again, not out of it yet. Still within range to make it into top 8 via the losers side, which we will see pretty much later on. Again, Idom and Child 233 getting ready to go, but not quite yet, as we have so much more to talk about. There's been a lot while I've been gone. I feel like there's just been a lot more things that have been popping up. More so, we've had things going on with PlayStation. Again, compete.playstation.com has what's been going on for majority of the time with the Open Series Summer Win-a-thon. Again, you want to check out that website down below, compete.playstation.com, to catch up on all of the tournaments that have been happening. It's going to be going on until August 31st for the entirety of the U.S. and Canada.
Also wanted to tell you about the Capcom authorized mobile game, Street Fighter Duel.
Oh, man, if it's a gacha, I'm screwed. I'm buying into that one.
Well, it's available for download now in China. A global version is coming soon. You can follow Ryu, Chun-Li, and others to explore the mysterious organization, experience the classic stories with all your fighters, and recall your memories of the original Street Fighter. Counter, stun, combo, super, an impressive array of fighting elements, and the innovative multiplayer combos offer you a new battle experience challenging your strategy and control. A variety of PvP gameplay and tournament with in-game rewards will definitely inspire you to fight. The Arcade Legends Reborn on the mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now and join the journey with millions of players to find out who is the best fighter. Well, we are currently on that path here as well on the CPT NA East, trying to find out who the best fighter is on the Eastern Seaboard of North America. We've had 3 matches. We got a bunch yet to go. Stick around for that.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand after defeat. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
only admire my words, but also concentrate a little more on your lessons, Manat. What's the meaning of fate? You shall know. You should try to learn to use your power a little better.
Fear my strength! Have a taste of this! Don't take this personal! I'll show no mercy! This is for my fellow hunters!
Live from the West Coast, we have the East Coast, CPT NA East #1. We know a few players who are going to be in the top 8 tomorrow so far, a bunch left to decide even still. My name's Ultra David, I'm here with Vicious.
I love the way you do things, honestly, the way you emphasize the fact that it's coming in from the West Coast. But again, the fact of the matter is, NA East is what we're going through. We have so many more games to go through. Idom versus Child, 233 is what you could expect. And these are the players that have currently made it. Spaceboy and Punk, as you see in the top part of top 8. And then iDrop awaiting his fate between these two individuals. And I'm excited to see it. I mean, they played, also, Idom and Child played not too long ago as well. So looking to see this run back. It hasn't been that many days since. That just kind of shows you how many Street Fighter V events we've been having going on pretty much all month, and it doesn't look to be stopping, and I love it.
If anybody's curious, we were talking about this during the break. It is not the case that Idom has a free path into Capcom Cup this year. In previous years, previous Capcom Cup winners did have free paths, but you know the world's been weird for the last year and a half, and you guys know how the situation's been. So it's not going to be the case.
Please
that
explain.
Even though,
what do you mean?
Do you guys know? It's not going to be the case that because he won Capcom Cup, a year and a half ago, that he gets the free path. So he does need to win. It's important to him. And on that note, one of the things he said before we get to his actual quote was, "I still don't think I have spent a dime of the Capcom Cup money." That's super cool.
I wish I didn't hear that. I feel like there could have been
just
there
hanging
could have been a lot of things he could have
just
used
under
it
his
on
bed.
to be lucrative with. But
He got some socks. Maybe that's what he got out of it.
he definitely did. Maybe,
anyway,
maybe a new streaming setup probably.
I hope so.
Because
I
he's
don't know.
streaming a lot more frequently now, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
either way, let's take a look at what they have to say going into their top 16 match. Child 233. Idom is very tough. I never beat him, but that doesn't mean I'm quitting. Good luck to you, Capcom champ. As you should have that mentality, honestly, because this is going to be like the match of your life. Being able to play against Idom on a frequent basis only levels you up.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that's a good perspective to take into this. Be realistic, but also, hey, big up yourself. You can make it happen. Don't quit. As for his opponent, Idom, what do we got? My strategy for this match will be to hit my opponent more than he hits me. Now, I don't think that's true. I think this is a lie. I don't think that's true. I think his strategy is going to be to grab his opponent more than the hit. Unless he's telling me in advance that there's going to be no command grabs from this Laura. Is that what he wants me to believe? If so,
what if he goes with poison?
Right. Well,
I don't think he would, but what if he goes with poison?
I mean, it's conceivable. In that case, you nailed it. You got me. I don't think we're going to be seeing command grab V-trigger, so probably not. But yeah, no, I think I'm probably looking for the Laura in this instance. Let's see as they're going. It's definitely going to be Boxer from Child.
Yeah, now it's a matter of what V-set the Balrog's going to be going to, right? We've seen a lot more action coming in from V-trigger 2 and V-skill 1 to kind of close the gap, but I don't know. I feel like from the upper echelon, it's been trigger 2, V-skill 1, but as of late, from like the medium levels, I feel like there's been a lot of 1-and-1 still, which is just fine. VCL 2 also been showing up a lot recently, or maybe I got it backwards. Am I?
No, I feel like I
see.
see a lot of variety on that. I feel like the only one that I don't see is V Trigger 1, V Skill 2. I feel like that's the only one I rarely see. But anyway, we'll see what we got here. What is it? 1-and-1. Yeah, 1-and-1 for Boxer, and then it's going to be Laura from Idom. No surprise on that front. Again, this is to make top 8 CPT NA East between these two. It's a tough one coming in for Child. He's right. It's just it's a tough draw for him, but it is for anybody in facing Idom. One of the best players in the world.
And so we'll see how it plays out here in the top 16. Child, again, pretty much fighting for his life into the top 8 against one of the biggest challenges he must face, the former Capcom Cup champion, who is also grinding it out as much as possible, or at least not grinding it out, but playing as serious as possible, considering he has to get into the Capcom Cup through ways of qualification, and the stun is there. We haven't seen a command grab yet. It's been all strikes thus far.
Well, it's a good round from Idom. As far as the intended V skill to get through from Child, I think it makes sense. It's just not the right moment for it. I understand. But boy, it's real hard to get a bead on what Idom wants to do at any one particular time.
Checking with the low medium
Yeah, there you
kick.
go. This is what they intended
Yes.
before, but the spacing was different before.
I like the whiff punish, but nothing behind it. That's just kind of tough, right? Just a little bit of a hit against Idom. That's what I wanted to see. Checking the forward movement behind the thunderclap.
Yeah, in and out's been really big for Child right now.
Does get a hit off the
Defense,
low
it's
medium
very,
kick,
very slow
but-
play from him.
Ooh, the back throw. This is going to be pretty huge for Child. No, you cannot dash up on Idom like that.
Dude, stealing a turn against Idom, that's so difficult.
Yeah, this guy's a robot. He's going to know the ins and outs of what you want to do, or at least the frame data, I should say.
Ooh, nothing there, though. It's his turn briefly, way too far away for the grab. And again, it's this play where Child's backing off. He hopes not to corner himself completely. Oh, here's
Yikes.
Idom, though. One more chance.
Big V reversal, trying to get himself out of the way, but does find a hit the next time around. Idom using EX Thunderclap to follow suit afterwards. Child just runs into it. The intimidation factor is just too strong coming from the likes of Idom. Maybe wanted to contest it check the low, but just not within range. Ideally, that's what he wanted to do, right? He wanted to go for the low and check Laura within range, just not the right timing or the right space.
Oh, yeah. I mean, very consistently, Idom is in a position or not doing the things that Child wants him to do. That said, I mean, look, Idom obviously wins the game, but I do like some of the defensive and kind of patient choices that we saw out of Child nevertheless. Building offense, on the other hand, is tough, and we saw Idom buttons out of like the one situation where that came up for Child. It's going to be a big thing he needs to shore up.
On the other hand, you're still looking at like those kind of hits, giving even more opportunities to Idom to close the gap on you, right? Child has to make sure it hurts. It's kind of tough. There we go. Something like that, being able to maintain the charge at all times, finding those open hits. There we go again. Child now completely changing it up from what we saw in game one, getting these hits to land, getting the charges intact.
Here's that in and out game. Oh, he went in. Clearly, Idom not expecting it.
Ooh.
He did expect that, though. Wow. Idom gets the party started.
What a check with the target combo. And I'm liking this from Child. A completely different player from what we saw in game one. A lot more confidence coming from him.
Yeah, a lot more offense. And he made it count. There's that little check, that light, into being at this range. You know, if he can stay at this range and counter poke, he's had success here.
I like him backing away from the danger, not trying to get caught up in any sort of mix-up or a block stun. But now here comes Idom starting off with the lights. That is a command grab. There's the sunset wheel number one.
Again,
we've
seen it not work a couple times up close in that point-blank situation.
Ooh. Great interruption there, Child. Now, again, trying to steal a turn away from Idom, but Idom very much so weary of the situation. He's interrupted that a bunch of times thus far, or at least stopped the theft of turns.
Oh, so good. The offensive universal maintains pressure. Idom's still there. Oh, that red bar. And then again trying to steal turn. Who is more protective of his turns than Idom? This man's got them in the bank. If he's not going to spend that Capcom Cup money, he's not going to let those turns go by either.
True. I like that. And again, the thing we need to see from Child is trying to make it a little bit more consistent when it comes to the Oki scenario, right? You got to imply those meaties. You got to make sure he guesses on defense a little bit more, because when he sees those gaps, he will fully take advantage of that. The universal's out again, not able to attack in time. Big interruption there from Child. Now on the verge of putting Idom on the back foot at least. Oh boy, that could have been a big punish, but Idom missed the opportunity just ever so slightly now in the corner.
Yeah, stuck there. He's very close to building that V-meter. Child's probably very aware of that and would rather not let it happen easily.
There we go.
Yeah.
Again, a little bit past the thunderclap. That was your opportunity to strike, and Child found it.
Putting a lot of plus frames out there. Idom is here. Oh! Okay, as soon as he got that V-reversal. Oh, dude, the timings on the thunderclaps are always amazing from Idom as he scoots his way into top 8 for tomorrow. Man. I tell you, many things to me stand out about Idom's play, obviously. He's fantastic in basically all the things that you need. The thing that stands out to me the most is the way and the timings that he uses that thunderclap. It's just so tough to challenge, even for characters who do have tools that go through fireballs, who do have tools to poke underneath. He brings that out in timings and situations when it's just very unexpected and turns it into offense so successfully every time.
Personally, I want to see Child kind of come in with that confidence as well towards like the loser side of things. It was a little shaky in the first game, I will admit. I did like him being very active with like, the whiff punishing department, but other than that, I just need to see a little bit more from him. A lot more solid with the gameplay, or at least a lot more solid when it comes to the knockdowns, getting those meaties going, and not giving the opponent a chance to take those turns away from you, honestly. I feel like that was just pretty much his only downfall, right? Not having his charges maintained and not fully understanding when to continue his pressure safely.
Well, there you see the top 8 in winner's side. Again, that's going to be tomorrow. So winner's side, we're good. We're done. That'll be tomorrow. Spaceboy versus Punk, iDrop versus Idom. Let's head down to the loser's side.
Ooh, this is where it gets kind of tough. We have Delta Red Sis, a.k.a. Chris Bet, as well as NYC Furby, a.k.a. Young Art, right? They're going to be going at each other. It's going to be Cammy versus Dawson, and of course, Jip the Boss, Kami, Smug, Z's Nuts, Flux Wave Z, and Metro M. There's going to be a lot more games to play through, but as we focus on this next one, it's a Georgia versus New York match. Cammy versus Dulcine.
Yeah, that's my expectation as well. And in talking with Art briefly about it, he expects, I think his expected path is like Cammy Boxer. I think that maybe was what he's looking for. And Dalsum, pretty good character. And you don't have to take it from me. You can also take it from Arturo, who had something to say about his character. And that is, as we get into his quote here, Dalsum is really cheap this season, so I have no regrets. It's all up to me and my decision-making. Wish me luck. This is a difficult tournament. It's true. Dalsum is really good, and I think that's been kind of an evolution of perspective for Dalsum players over the last maybe like 2 years, as he got some buffs that over time, you know, mounted and became more important. Practical big damage more often for the character, practical space control more often for the character, and then in this season with V-Shift, I think that's the thing that puts it over the top into being honestly like a really strong character. He gets to go back to neutral a lot more often. He gets to escape situations that were difficult for him more often, and combined with the fact that he then goes back to like where he wants to be, pretty good. So Art has a mindset here that's pretty strong of, look, the character is not the problem. It's just on me. I have to do it myself.
Yep.
I like that perspective.
I'm digging that a lot. And switching over to the character who has had pretty small changes through and through, and it's just been absolutely consistent, is Cammy. And let's see what Delta Red had to say about going into that. NYC Furby is a really great player. I will try my best. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the love and support. I couldn't have made it here without you guys. And this is a name that I'm not too familiar with, but again, it's not to discredit this person. He has gone through one of the toughest brackets. I feel like, again, we mentioned it at the top of the show. East Coast has one of the most stacked tournament brackets at all times, and making it into top 16 already is a feat in and of itself. So shout out to Delta Red for making it this far. Looking to see if he continues against the veteran through Arturo. But this is going to be, I feel like, a pretty solid match. You know, Camby versus Dalsum. I feel like he's going to have a good time. But again, Art being the veteran that he is, he's pretty much gone through every single matchup and knows exactly what he needs to do to get it done.
Shout out to that big, cute smile on his face. That was what a good smile. As far as the matchup goes, honestly, like, it's not that bad for Dalsum. Like, it's eminently doable as a matchup. And she has attack angles that can be good, but he's outside of those, and he can anti-air them pretty decently, to be honest. So I don't think it's a case of either character blowing up either one. I think this is going to be a well-fought match, both sides. Did I see V Trigger 2? That surely was V Skill 2. Let's... No, I mean, we have actually seen some people pick V Trigger 2 lately. It is V Trigger 2? Okay.
Interesting. I'm going to definitely enjoy seeing that. Having that little extra command grab as well.
Yeah, she's got pressure out of it. She's got plus frames out of it. She got forward movement out of it.
Yeah, she does. On the offhand, Arturo going with V-Skill 1. We've seen him use a lot of V-Skill 2 lately, I feel like. But again, he wants to employ the movement option against someone like Cammy, and I like that. Yo, Delta Red actually tried to go for the snipe out with the cannon spike again, but that was just a mishap right there.
I mean, these ideas are not so wild. If you get a knockdown, it's that would be great. And if you can teach NYC Furby, if you can teach Sabin that he can't press buttons for free in round number 1, that could be helpful, but just didn't quite work out that way.
And we're seeing the approach here from Delta Red, actually going for a swing, a preemptive swing with that Fierce. But immediately after, Furby kind of backed off, Arturo kind of backed off in pressing those normals, right? You saw that. He went to a reactionary stance, but now it's back to that phase 1 where I'm going to test you with my normals. And again, I like the teleport behind the fireball just to reset the situation. And
yeah, there's that big practical damage I was talking about. Great punish.
It's been full control here from Sabin. He has like 5 different names, I feel like.
Yeah, neither of us wants to say NYC Furby, but there it is on screen. And he takes game number 1. Just, I mean, like I said, Dalsum and the way that Art plays, he's so practiced in this matchup, is really, really good at being outside of her attack angles and being able to shut them down at certain spots. I love the way that Art played that. I think that was really, really nice.
I think on top of that, the recognition of when he should change the strategy is also pretty much on point. That was almost instantaneous. As soon as he saw Delta Red swing for the fences, he thought to himself, all right, well, I don't want to put myself in that kind of position. I don't want to get counterpoked. I'm going to go into the stance where I'm going to make him think it's allowed for him to jump in on me. Then I'm going to anti-air him and then immediately go back into phase 1.
Yeah, he's been playing that back and forth zoner style with Dalsum since the 1990s, man. And he's making it work still.
Jesus, the plethora of normals. The minefield of strongs, medium kicks. Oh, Jesus. Someone stop this man.
Well, what a sick little setup right there. Oh, no,
Sheesh.
no. Oh, no.
Done deal. The slingshot to seal it. Perfect KO. It's looking really tough for Delta Red, but again, Cammy is that character that could explode and make it happen. They're still around to make it work.
I think Delta Red's making some good decisions on the other side. He's not always moving forward. You can see he's currently trying to outrange. It's exactly what he's looking for. He had been trying to scheme for that spot for quite a while.
Now he has to make the most of it, but no, Arturo finds a dash in and a back medium kick to get this entire sequence started. Ooh, this is great for Delta Red now. We might see an activation, yes sir. Yeah, still opting for the block. Does take the throw, but still, you don't get any Oki situations after a forward throw outside of the corner is Cammy.
Still a turn, Art knows, but then he called out the forward movement after that, and Art's going to take that in a fast 4-0. Really, really nice stuff to him. As far as Delta Red, again, I like some of the ideas. Staying far away, I thought was a good one. The idea of trying to show the opponent that you are going to DP some limbs. Not a bad idea necessarily, but maybe went to that too often as well. Art got some huge punishes on that stuff. Again, really, really nicely played by Sabin, who moves forward. So Delta Red,
shout out to him for making it for top 16
Absolutely.
without a doubt. Easily one of the
Absolutely.
most stacked tournaments you could possibly enter. It's like a mini major, if you will. Big pat on the back for sure. But again, against someone like Arturo, it's a whole different league now from what we saw. A straight 4 rounds straight, I should say.
Straight.
But if you're Delta Red, you got to be looking at that match now. It's like, you know what, now you have the information to go back on and really fix the game, or fix your game plan against Dalsim. So still pretty positive going forward. Delta Red, congratulations either way. NYC Furby, a.k.a. Sabin, moving on into the second round to face off against Child. But we are moving on into Jip the Boss versus Kami. Kami, a name we've seen a good amount throughout the years of Street Fighter V. Sure. Jip the Boss, I will say, personally, I have not seen him yet, but I've been told that he plays Alex and Falk.
Indeed, that's right. Yeah, from Boston, Massachusetts. Let's hear what these two players had to say. What do we got here? We have from Kami. I'm stuck in loser's bracket. Can you help me out? Well, who put you there? Let me see. I got the news for you. It was Punk.
Oh,
it
boy.
was Punk.
Shout out to you,
Good luck.
Kami. I know what you're doing, and I see it. Let's go into the next quote. Jip the Boss. Wish nothing but the best to Kami, but I'm coming to DDT this man. I want to see it. I want to see Alex come out, and I want to see if it's enough to take down the man with many characters. Kami's been working out with Seth, Rashid, and Ken for the most part. We've seen him a lot on stream, on his personal stream, rocking that Seth and Rashid. I want to see the Ken. I want to see if it works out. But Jip with Alex, it's been pretty exciting seeing all the Alexes really coming right now.
Yeah. This is a character obviously is popular. A lot of people liked him, but just kind of didn't think that he was up to the task before.
No, not at all.
And they were right about that. But yeah, it's cool to see the people who did stick with him now are terrors because they were like pretty good before, and now the character's good. So yeah, I think he's good. He's got a lot of stuff going on for himself. He's got good pressure. He can actually continue pressure better. He gets practical damage in more situations.
He gets Oki situations a lot more often than not, even after light normals. It's really, really solid. And again, just seeing the damage output, or at least the threat of the powerbomb. Again, the powerbomb has been one of the trademark moves of Alex. And now that it's gotten buffed, even more significant range on that bad boy, that's going to be pretty interesting to see, because it's like you're not worried about the powerbomb as much before, but now you should be, because of how plus he can be at certain situations and still be within range, right? Now he has more options to go into frame traps and or the command grab.
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely right. And from Kami's side, what's his character solution here? What do you want to go to, Seth? Okay. Makes sense to me.
I like that. With a UIU outfit.
That's really cool.
I love that.
That's really cool.
That. They should have given it to the entire cast, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I mean, Seth is a little bit weaker this season, but still is a really strong character. And again, the recent buff to V-Trigger 2, I think, is really nice. Okay, V-Skill one we've seen from both Seth players so far. It's Seth's turn after that lands.
I like the backdash out of the way, and I forget that Seth gets the foot stomp. Oh, crosscut DP, checking with the crouching heavy kick to see the movement option. Jip the Boss now still hasn't found a way in. Dashes up, does get a low medium punch to kind of open up Kami a little bit, but it's only a warning shot.
Well, it's really slow play so far, and I think that shows some confidence on both players' sides. Neither one feels that they need to move in. They both feel confident enough in this mid-range.
Forgot to mention that the V-Skill 2, the V-Set 2 is going to be the choice for Alex from Jip the Boss. Not going to go for the charge up, but rather the Oki option, and Kami immediately busts out when seeing some danger. The EX Mad Cradle finds the mark, but Jip the Boss, again, trying to play the Footsie's game for the most part. Not activating into V-Trigger 2 after that.
I like it. Yeah, he's looking for the confirm. This is it's a spot where I like both characters' options against each other. I don't think either one's like the strongest in the game at that spot. So sure, like hang out there. Look for the confirm. Here's the activation. Surely, yes. Oh, the crush!
I swear, if he busts out the DDT immediately and caught Kami walking backwards, I would have lost it. Oh, okay. So now he's planning to use it more so in neutral rather than after a normal maybe.
Right. Typically,
wow. There it is. That's what I was looking for. The movement option against Kami. He promised the DDT. We have at least one with this first round. Very impressive from Jip.
Am I looking at Street Fighter V, Jip the boss, or am I looking at Third Strike Sanchez with these DDTs intended in neutral out here?
I could hear him yelling.
Absolutely, yep. And then the boot. Hey, he just won the round start opener with the boot. Bet.
And we see Kami playing a very slow, kind of patient range game. More so to react to anything, but Jip the boss getting the better of that trade. V-Skill 2 is still full in effect. AKS after the flash chop? I don't know. Maybe he wanted the elbow. I'm sure he wanted the elbow.
But he continues to look really strong at that spot. He's anti-aired great from there. He's had counter pokes or just, again, anti-airs from there. He's been really consistent with that.
Oh, boy, that's such a threat, too, just walking out of that distance and still getting the medium punch. But here comes Kami. We get to see that explosiveness in the corner. Are we going to see any sort of... Yeah, I was going to say, wait for the bomb setup. No?
Okay, well, it worked out for Kami. It worked out for him. I don't think that's exactly what he was looking for, but... It did work. So the snowballing there from Seth, I mean, that was the big part of it. It's in fact Alex, in this matchup, at least between these two players, who's playing at the wall. Ah, Kami got in there first. Only frames away from the roundhouse being hit.
Applying all of these frame traps. Keeping him grounded. Jip the boss tried to go for the movement option. Not today. And of all things to get hit by, it was the roundhouse spin kick, too.
Ooh, what a little standing reset out of Kami, who goes from losing round number 1 in very slow fashion to a buzzsaw in that final round with the perfect. In there quickly, offense, mix-ups were working out, the different frame trap timings, really good confirm on the float from that little spin kick. That was great. Super good round from him.
Just sheer dominance coming in from Kami. And that was a message. That was clearly a message. Intentionally drop the rest of that combo just to catch Jip the boss pressing buttons and saying, you know what, I'm in your head. I know what you want to do. And, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. But we'll see if Jip has an answer for him going into this next game. Anti-air is being changed up. I like that. Jip the boss is getting tempted. Another option for movement gets stuffed. And Kami in a very similar situation as the last round. Another forward throw. Ooh.
Yeah, looking at a range where he can anti-air well.
Oh,
wow, where Alex can anti-air still as well. He's got activation if he can find something. I mean, Kami's checked at this point a few dashes.
Oh, that could have been an activation. Get himself a little bit closer as well to apply pressure. It's not too bad on hit if you get the activation.
Yeah, and these dash ranges are cool. These are ranges that are not like point blank where Kami can get whatever he wants.
What a counter hit confirmed.
And with his own trigger, yep, he's going to bring it out. Oh, my God.
Man, that's tough. That's tough. That was a perfect tick throw setup coming in from Kami, knowing full well how to control and manipulate the orb to do his bidding, and that's as every Seth player should, really. He's got like 1.5 million options now. Oh, boy. Still manages to get sucked into the V-Skill 1. Don't get hit stopped.
Maybe worried about Wake Up Super there, but Jip the Boss, again, has really played this kind of slow style.
Oh. I like that. The counter hit, even more so the follow-up afterwards. Oh! Excellent V-shift there from Jip, knowing full well that Kami would have gone into that V-skill to make himself safe. Frames.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't want to deal with that anymore. That had been causing him problems as Kami's now in here. Okay, now, what did he actually want last time? Right. Whoa, my God. Explode? Oh, this is so sick.
This is so
nasty.
nasty.
So sick. It was still going on. Come on. Alex fell to his knees before it was over. Oh, man, that's so cool, dude. That V-Trigger, too. It's really good.
It's
like
fun to watch.
Super good. But it's
so
also
fun to watch.
It's super fun to watch. I'm sure it's fun to play with. I've played against it, and it's pretty tough. So.
It's, man.
But it's sick. Shout out to Kami. That was awesome. I like that match from both sides. I still really do like from Jip the Boss. I like that kind of mid-range control that we saw out of Alex, where he was pretty consistent with anti-airs, to be honest, where he was pretty good with the stand roundhouse. He checked with elbow a bunch. Down medium, I liked a lot of that stuff. It's just that when it came down to him being knocked down, he didn't really have, well, as Alex doesn't, have great defensive tools. We saw him trying to jump out of situations. That didn't work.
Yeah,
he did V-shift escape once, but like the jumps weren't doing it, and he got counter hit several times, and it was great offense by Akami.
Yeah, there were what, 2 big situations where he got caught using the movement option on defense, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, why resort to that when you see like the spin kick? Because either way, I mean, like,
you can press buttons there.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if any of the spin kicks, like light or medium, happen to come out, they're going to be pretty negative to punish.
For sure.
The roundhouse one, you have significant time to press a button and stop it, right? There's an option select.
Just a mix up there. And he got it wrong, unfortunately for him, so he is out of this thing. It's going to be Kami versus Lazinoco in the next round.
Going into the next one, Smug versus Z's Nuts. Oh boy, Smug coming in from Florida, Z's Nuts coming in from Montreal. So that's going to be a pretty big deal in terms of distance. But Smug was actually sent into the losers by Lazinoco, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So he's going to be making his run from the loser side as one of the, he's still one of the favorites in the East Coast or in just like, North American Street Fighter 5. But seeing him in this peculiar situation is going to be interesting because he's going up against Z's Nuts Akuma from Montreal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. As far as who Z's Nuts, thank you so much for signing up for that name, by the way. That's
amazing.
Awesome. He lost to Cozy Phillips in second round of the tournament.
Who?
Z's Nuts.
Okay.
Yeah, lost to Cozy Phillips
in
second round. So that's pretty early, but then was able to move forward and actually get the run back versus Cozy Phillips, and then also beat Amistad God in order to move in. So that's, for him, is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. I see. So that's going to be happening shortly after this break. But again, we've been kind of showing off a bunch of new things that are coming up recently for Street Fighter V. One of them being the tournaments going on with PlayStation, in conjunction with PlayStation, where we have, again, the Summer Winathon event that's been going on for quite a while now. The compete.playstation.com link down below right here is where exactly, boom, right? There it is. Check out that website to make sure and enter all the tournaments that have been going on for Street Fighter V happening going on now until August 31st, I should say, for the entirety of the US and Canada.
Let's talk about Street Fighter Duel, if you'll indulge me. Check it out. You can follow Ryu, Chun-Li, and others to explore the mysterious organization, experience the classic stories with all your fighters, and recall your memories of the original Street Fighter. It's now available for download in China, and there's going to be a global version pretty soon. It's got an impressive array of fighting elements and innovative multiplayer combos. For a new battle experience challenging your strategy and control, a variety of PvP gameplay, and tournaments with in-game rewards. It'll definitely inspire you to fight. Check it out on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now and join the journey with millions of players to find out who is the best.
And again, we're getting ourselves ready for Smug versus Z's Nuts. After this break, you do not want to miss it. We're going to see who gets to end their run in losers and who gets to move on to round 2 shortly after this break.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand after defeat. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are Street Fighters.
settle this.
I'm shaking here.
Bow down before my psycho power.
Back like we never left into the Capcom Pro Tour 2021 for the North American East Qualifier #1. Vicious back at it again with Ultra David to continue the rest of the losers run that we kind of left you on a cliffhanger on, right? Smug versus Z's Nuts is what's going to happen, and it's going to be pretty much Smug, who is now no longer in New York, but I feel like he's in Florida. I'm not sure, but that might be the case. Either way, it's going to be a matchup between where on the East Coast down below, going up against Z's Nuts in Montreal.
It's the match that I don't know if you've been looking forward to at home, but that I've been looking forward to on
And
commentary.
why is that, David?
As soon as I saw who was playing here, so that I would just get to rattle it off the entire time, expect, you know, a lot of the time we're out here saying like, oh, he did that or she did that. I'm not going to be using the pronouns at all. I'm going to be saying Z's Nuts 100% every single time.
As you should.
From Montreal, who says, if I fail my PhD, I blame this game.
Man, that
I get
speaks
it.
to the heart.
I get it.
Not just for us, but for so many players
I get it.
around the world.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's hear what the players had to say about the match coming up.
Starting off with Smug. I feel confident. I'm looking forward to playing my best. As he should. I mean, that's been the attitude of Smug pretty much throughout the entirety of his professional career, with a little bit of sarcasm as well. But with Smug, it's without a doubt going to be an entertaining fight. Let's go on to our next player, Z's Nuts from Montreal.
And Z's Nuts says, I'm not holding up, but Smug better be. Oh, yeah? Z's Nuts going to be getting demon setup? Is that what we should be looking for from Z's Nuts? As, of course, to remind you, it's going to be Z's Nuts versus Smug in this matchup here.
Yeah, Balrog versus Akuma.
That's right, between Smug and Z's Nuts. Thanks. It's great. Thanks so much. We have one more match after this in losers side. Losers round 1 will be Fluxways versus Metro M after this, but let's head into this one. So as far as Akuma goes, you know, this is a character that did get some nerfs, as has kind of been the trajectory for him, right? He's been nerfed a little bit here and there each season, but in no case has he been blown up. And what I like about the state of the character right now is that he is good enough that if you want to use Akuma, absolutely you can do it. You can still win big stuff with him,
Sure.
for sure. But it's not the case where like people are bandwagoning on him, because he's good, but he's not like that so good that you need to bandwagon. I like that. That's to me a really good spot to be in a tier list. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other characters that have been touched up, like buffed-wise, and some of the higher-tier characters have been nerfed slightly, so it's at a really good place. We've kind of emphasized that throughout the entirety of this season, where majority of the characters are pretty much viable. I mean, just look at the top 16. That should be proof alone, right? We have so many different characters going out through our roster.
It'll be G. And speaking of characters who I think are in a super interesting place, I love G right now.
I love the route they
He's
took
so
with him.
interesting. Yeah. Rather than just like making him worse, I mean, sure, a little bit worse. But rather than blowing him up or just making him less interesting, they made him more interesting in the way that Trigger works now. I'm very interested in that. Super cool.
Even the presidentiality mechanic alone, they made that super cool to use.
Yeah.
You have so many more different combo routes to optimize with. Just, you know, it's so interesting to have access to each strength, each individual strength of special move now in a route. So long as you have max presidentiality level, right?
Absolutely. Smug not there yet, but the way he's playing right now is just about the slow bulldog. Something we've seen from him many, many times. And Z's Nuts is really holding on to a great spot. That mid-range for him, he's got the confirm there and right back to a spot here where he's going to have to defend against no presidentiality level activation here, so it's not going to last as long.
And I like, you know, the fact that Z's Nuts actually challenged the low dash the first time around. Smug managed to get like a confirm and go into it, but Z's Nuts now on the offensive. That's more than enough. I gotta say, despite, like, you know, Smug being the player, the caliber player that he is, I'm surprised he didn't go straight up for the Balrog matchup. To be honest with you, I think Balrog blows up Akuma pretty well, but
okay,
we'll see.
The big bet, and Smug is gonna make Z's Nuts pay. God, that is a lot of damage, actually.
Jesus,
okay.
Don't get smoked. Don't get smoked by a command grab.
Woo! You called it out, and Z's Nuts didn't listen to you.
I mean, to be fair, he told all of us that he wasn't going to hold up north.
He said it.
He already lives there. Why would he continue going up?
He said it. I mean, Z's Nuts said it.
Wow.
That's hard. It's really hard.
Keeping yourself on track.
That's
like
really
that.
hard.
Cool. You see him. You see Z's Nuts just trying to go around some of the normals. All right. The crosscut DP. I like that. Forward throw now into the corner. Checking the low movement option against Smug. The fireball comes out as well just to check him even further.
What a spot. A spot where he could walk up and get the grab. Again, Z's Nuts is here.
The meticulous movement from Z's Nuts in and out of those ranges to tempt Smuggles into pressing something. Anything, really. And Smug is giving it right back to him. He's staring him down in the face while he's crouching.
Yeah, Z's Nuts just hiding in the corner. I mean, trying to offensive V reversal, holding up.
Oh, boy.
And Smug was there.
Critical art Z's Nuts. He's going to go almost for the kill. Not quite. Oh, but the classic.
Counter. I wonder if it had been intended as another crosscut DP. We saw that before.
That would have been pretty interesting to see. Had the crosscut DP had come out fully loaded, I think it would have been close to death.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Well, okay, so for Smug, again, I really like that bulldogging that he's just so good at in all the games that he plays. That was something he used to get into the corner. I like a lot about what we're seeing from Z's Nuts. His offense has looked good. His defense has mostly looked good, but he got smoked, like you said, in that round by just a couple of different combos.
But I will say Z's Nuts has been playing at a very, very solid kind of style, at least at a competent style where he understands what the ranges are for someone like G, which is great because you don't want to get blown up too easily, right? Oh, and I spoke too soon. The whiff punish is there from Smug, but that's what you could expect from the mayor of Duff City. The interruption's there.
Yeah, that's right. Z's Nuts is definitely in there. He's not letting go of things. Still holding on.
Oh, just when he thought it was his turn.
Individual buttons really are adding up. The anti-air is there.
Look at the activity of normals coming in from Smug. And I like that, yeah, also checking Z's Nuts to see if he was going to go for the air approach, or at least anti-air, because of how grounded the games have been so far.
Smug just walking up and blocking yet again. Fearless here as Z's Nuts propel forward. Trying to swing into the corner. Oh, but Smug's there first. Retracting Z's Nuts, and it's going to be match point now for Smug.
Big counter hit confirm from Chef Smuggles, putting himself at match point. I'm really liking this, but it's looking kind of tough for Z's Nuts to make that comeback. So far, full critical art on deck. Hasn't opted to use any of the EX meter to close the gap. He's been solid with the ground game thus far. Yeah, crosscut DP. But I'm trying to see Z's Nuts try to steal some momentum away from Smug with that meter. I want to see what he's going to do with it.
Yeah, we've been seeing him adapt. I'd like to see him continue growing here, as he does have a life lead.
We need to see a little bit more aggression from Z's Nuts, and we're not seeing it just yet. He's been holding on to that critical art for forever. No whiff punishes on deck either against Sir Smuggle.
Again, it's that style from Smug, just holding on to the right spot. Very slowly moving Z's Nuts backwards. No answer. And dashing
Oh,
in
come on
even.
now. The forward fear is coming out. Critical Art is still on deck. I'm just waiting for the meter to be spent. There we go. Some sort of explosion. There we go. Smuggington the fourth at least gets the big confirm. Z's Nuts now in danger.
What
No
a call out by
forward.
Z's Nuts.
Oh, but nothing of it afterwards. Maybe try to bait out a normal to catch the meaty, but still.
The shield on the approach.
Oh boy,
Hit
the trigger on
in
Z's
time.
Nuts got him. That's what we were waiting for. Z's Nuts committed to the fireball option, and Smug immediately going into that trigger to go into the wheel kick afterwards. Very smart reaction.
Yeah, no, it was great by Smug. I love that he was looking for that in that moment right there, for sure. As far as Z's Nuts, again, I liked a lot of the stuff that we saw there, but that style of Smug of consistently walking up into an uncomfortable range, using the normals that he has, pestering here and there, very fast confirms when he needed them, and then when he got mix-ups up close, like Smug always does, he's got that. Again, that's his style.
Yeah,
It's that slow approach. It's not like he needs to go wild to get close. It's a slow approach. He's confident. And then when he finds the chance for mix-up, he's always good.
I think with that kind of information, like we've seen Smug in a handful of streams, even his own, we've seen that kind of game plan. I feel like Z's Nuts should have been a little bit more aggressive with the meter he had to close the gap and initiate his turns a little bit more often on offense, right? There's just been so many times he's held on to so much potential damage, or at least potential openings, just by holding on to the critical art. There hasn't been too many examples of EX given in either of those games, right? He's been holding on to meter for almost forever, it felt like. And I just would have loved to see maybe like an EX Demon Flip or maybe an EX Fireball on the way in or something to force Smug into the corner, or at least force him to block a little bit more often, because I don't know, there was just him holding on to meter and just waiting for the whiff punish game.
No, he got
a lot of activity.
He got stuck in some real hairy situations. It's a tough one. It was hard, as you could see. So Smug moves forward into the next round. It'll be Smug versus Shine, a classic, one that we've seen a bunch of times. It's going to be great, I am sure, but we still have one more round one loser side in this top 16 to go. It will be OCG Flux Waves versus Metro M. Flux Waves, before we get to what he said for the stream, he did give us another fact about himself. He says, I think zoners are the best fighting game archetype.
All right.
You gave me. I can't believe you did it.
I think, you know,
I can't believe you did
I
it.
might agree to that, because I'm starting to like really understand how difficult it is to play those kind of
It is.
characters.
It's really hard,
extremely
yeah.
difficult. And as I get older, it's like, man, that's kind of tough to put yourself in. I commend you.
Thanks.
I truly commend you. Not you. But
Okay, thank you. All right, let's get into
I'm
what
kidding.
players
I'm
say.
kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
To me, you'll always be a grappler. That's the thing, David.
You know, as I get older, I mean, I'm still always going to be a grappler, but as I get older, I do find myself having the same kind of path of, I always have played zoners, but I'm doing it more and more, and I really like it. It's a lot of fun.
There's just something about it being able to be such a nuance from further out and kind of be like, ha, you can't get me until they close the gap. Then it's like, oh no, what do I do?
For sure. All right, well, let's get into what the players had to say now. And first up, it's going to be OCG Flux Waves, who says, I think Vega can do well against both Mika and Poison, and Metro M's very strong, so I might have some trouble with this one.
I kid you not. Seeing this kid grow into the player that he's become since the Red Bull Battlegrounds and Proving Grounds days, this kid has just blown up so well into a very fascinating player who's always doing the homework on not only his opponents, but just all the lab work against characters as well. We're going to see some really explosive results. I'm very surprised to see him in the loser side, actually, along with his opponent, Metro M, who's also been a very competent Vega player. Let's take a look at what he had to say. Metro M says, Flux is strong, but respectfully, I have no fear going into this match. I will do my best like I always do and let the best man win. P.S. I'm going to slide.
Thanks for the heads up. As far as, you mentioned these are both really strong players. Flux Waves is only here having lost to Smug.
I see.
Smug's a good player. And as for Metro M, might have just been like a funky first round. He actually lost in his first round matchup versus Crispy 117. First round of the tournament. And then since then battled back and did get the run back versus Crispy, and then beat OG on, a really strong player who did make it into the top 16. So it was, I mean, again, very strong player for sure. As far as the, what Metro M had to say there, he's again, one of these players who's being nice, but realistic, and in a way that is also pumping himself up. And those three things, I think, are like the best perspectives to have coming into a match that's going to be serious like this.
So we're going to see it. Flux Wave Z going up against Metro M. Poison versus Vega is what we could anticipate, but no, it's going to be the Mika choice from Flux Wave Z. That's going to be, that's been the character he's been using primarily for the earlier stages of Street Fighter V. So I'm going to see it. I'm going to enjoy myself seeing this old main come back to life.
Yeah.
Actually, no. He was using this during the Intel World Open as well. What am I saying?
Yeah, we definitely see him around.
And opting to go for the V-Trigger 2, by the way. Has a lot of grimy setups with the Nadeshko chair.
Yeah, that faster recovery on it, too, so you get to call it again sooner.
And more often,
And
actually.
more often. Yeah, man. Here it is. Flux Wave's already here.
Oh,
Okay.
boy. Back-to-back throws. Just interrupting Metro M as well with that jab from earlier on. The dropkick just has not been contested.
Oh, you ain't going anywhere. This is the excitement I wanted to see all day.
The chase was there, too, and Flux Waves. It's not the stun yet, but such a big lead.
Oh, and the throw's going to do it no matter what, right? Stun or death. Flux Wave Z with the most impressive start throughout the entirety of top 16. Now we're here. This is what I was talking about.
Back to that mid-range, though, is where Metro wants to be, and he's there now. He'd love to hang on to it if he can.
Oh. Big, scary jump in. Not an anti-air inside against Metro, but still.
There we go. The neutral jump in anticipation of the drop kick. Where have you been? Don't get grabbed. That's going to be the kill condition there. Metro M, more than enough to take it. The perfect target combo, and you know there's going to be something behind it. But either way, going into it with just about 2 bars.
That was that mid-range control that you want out of Vega. Again,
Again?
calling it out. It wasn't a punish, though. But, yeah, that call-out has to make Flux Waves think twice, as now he's got to deal with dash up from Vega.
Oh, just backing away, trying to set himself up. Flux Waves is also trying to figure out how the option, or excuse me, what the option is going to be for offense. So far, Metro's done a great job, as you mentioned, controlling the neutral game. Oh, boy.
Air-to-air option is there. Are we going to see a double P, possibly?
It's going to not hit. It was barely off the mark.
The V-Skill 2! The V-Skill 2 coming in. That was sheer finesse, David. That was hook, line, and sinker. Played him like a fiddle. The double P for Metro M. You love to see it. You really do.
Wow, that was incredible stuff right there. In that round number 1, as you said, starting off great was Flux. I mean, into control. I was curious. I was about to lead up to asking whether that meant that there was going to be a switch, but there's not. Instead, Flux Waves goes back into it.
Man, I wish these were 3 out of 5.
Ooh,
Beautiful. And getting the crush and the corner and a huge stun bar and the call out there.
Oh, my God.
You know, there it is. Making just a couple of great reads on the way in, and now it's just going to be one more if it's right.
Man, how many times is it going to take to the skies? Metro M actually found it on the 3rd one. Sky High Claw to the other side for the knockdown. And here comes Flux, Wave Z into throw range for kill, but manages to get the meaty into the frame trap instead. A very exciting start there from Flux Wave Z. Just a lot of oppression for a majority of the rounds in that corner. That neutral jump has been paying dividends. But now it's Metro M getting a lot more activity with that medium punch. Oh boy, I spoke too soon.
Backdash out of there. And Metro harassing just a little bit here. It's light. Yeah, because, you know, he feels confident at this range. That's what he would rather be at.
Anti-air with the crouching medium punch. Again, the dropkick finding its way in, at least against Metro M. Going for the skies. Ooh!
Very interesting. The roundhouse already up in the sky. You can see Flux Waves is really trying to challenge. This is the moment, though. This is the moment for a big mix-up. There is a super here as well if the confirm can come.
Oh, you thought it was your turn? No, sir. More than enough. Taking off to the skies. Excellent finisher there from Flux Wave Z. Had a slight mishap from the first chair. Missed it a little bit, but still managed to recover, getting a frame trap immediately afterwards. That was very, very good. Again, that time freeze is so sick. Just being able to use that more often now with Nadeshko, that is so good for Mika.
Shout out to the mental fortitude to get double perfected and then to load right back in with that character and take the next couple of rounds. So we are tied up in this first of 2.
I wonder if he still uses that giant notebook full of information against players. My man went in there like a coach going in for the next play. Oh, boy.
That was Metro actually trying to call out that jump with the upward version of that, and instead Flux was passed. And it's going to be, oh, no.
Meaty Mike. Oh,
Combo into
no.
command. No, it doesn't even need it. It would have been cool, but no big deal. As Flux Waves goes from getting double perfected to finding his own perfect for match point.
We're seeing the options there for Metro M, right? He tried to exercise one of the options with the ace going upward. Just at that sharper angle, or that sharp angle, it wasn't going to hit the mark. So now we got to think to ourselves, is Metro M going to take to the skies if he's stuck in that corner, which he's found success with earlier? I'm surprised he hasn't gone for that option earlier. Or, like, I guess more often.
Really interesting. Metro not looking for it. And Flux
He
even
ran
calling on
right
forward
into
movement.
it. So smart, Flux wave. Z going in for the command grab. Ooh, boy. On wake up like that?
Out of there at least. Okay, now with free time, the Deshko comes out.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Since Super had just been built, Metro spends the bar, of course, to take it to match point for both of them. What a hard-fought battle. Perfects on either side. Big swings on both sides.
And we haven't seen Metro M really use that EX bar, so going into it, I'm not too worried about him, right? He's still going to be controlling the neutral as much as possible with normals, not really using the EX meter to sneak in any combos or whatever. It's been mostly stray hits that he's been getting his Ws from. Flux Wave Z, however, nearly stopped on Critical Art just now.
Metro told us he's going to be doing slide. Although I think that might be the big first one, as Flux now has corner control. The mix-ups are here. Mika's terrifying.
Sheesh.
Next one for stun. Never mind. It was the stun on that one.
Into the Irish whip. Lady Mika into the microphone. Boom! That's what I wanted to see from Metro. And again, command grab. What's the situation off the side switch? Oh!
Really great timing. Love that from Metro. There's another Nadeshko in the wings, though. There she is in the front seats, just ready to be called up.
Oh.
It's a risky slide. He continues.
Oh, that could have been big. Flux Waves thought there was going to be a command grab. Metro M has to be wary of that now. Here comes the dash.
Oh. Battles. It's not over quite yet. Overhead for the seal and the win. Metro.
I love that from Metro. I'm glad he exercised that option towards the end because we saw Flux Wave Z really looking for the command grab the last time that Rolling Crystal Flash happened, right? We saw the jump out literally seconds prior, and immediately after, Metro was like, all right, so I know that you're looking for my command grab. I have a better idea. I'm going to hit you with a normal instead.
He was right.
Absolutely, he was right. 2-1. Could have gone either way, though.
Oh, yeah. That was an awesome match, actually. That was super sick on both sides. But Metro will move on. EX Aurora Spin Edge. Throw in vulnerability. Frames 1 through 18.
I see. Yeah. When we saw it on Wake Up, the anticipation of the throw was exactly what
it's a very
Metro was
specific
looking
call
for.
out. Yeah, he knew exactly what was coming up in that situation. Nice work.
A lot of specifics actually in that matchup. I think if we were to highlight any of them, I think that had to be one of our, or at least one of my favorite matches to see, the kind of back and forth adaptation. One of the things that I saw Flux Wave Z do was the drop kick to try to get away from the command grab rather than using movement.
Yeah,
that was really cool. But unfortunately, Flux Wave Z is no longer moving on. Again, that is pretty much his run and loser side. Fortunately, we get to see more Vega from the side of Metro M. Silver lining.
Exactly right. Yeah. So we now if we can just head back briefly to that bracket right there, just to remind you of where we're going. It's going to be Child versus NYC Furby. Again, this is what Saban expected. That's what he said he expected to find coming into this. And that matchup is one that I think historically has been difficult for Dalsum as a character. It's just so much damage and so much corner carry, potential out of Boxer with the V-skill to get through fireballs as well. But again, as things have evolved, I think that that's become not as gnarly for Dalsum in a way that, again, Art thinks that the character is not the problem, right? He can make it happen each time.
Very curious to see how this is going to be playing out. Child has been, again, coming up a lot more often than not in some of these tournaments. I'm seeing him in these positions of like top 16, top 8 more often than not. So hopefully we could see maybe him transcend above like going up against this Dalsum matchup against Art. Again, very, very much so one of the best Dalsums in the country. I don't really remember what their record is currently, but I know they've played before. So I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. But we're going to see it 2 out of 3. This is round 2 of losers, and we saw what's to come next afterwards. We have so many more matches with Lazinoco and Kami, Shine and Smug, and Mandrake and Metro M.
Yeah, as far as Child versus Art, I've definitely seen it happen. Those guys have played offhand a bunch of times when it comes to the online locals that we've had. But as things have moved forward over the last year or so, we've seen Art get top 8, even win at some of those big East Coast locals, for example. So he's had more and more success as that's been moving forward.
So we were talking about like the Balrog versus Dalsim matchup. I'm kind of thinking to myself, what's going to be the V set for both players? I mean, we've seen 1-1 coming from the side of Art and Child. I don't know if it's going to be any different. I feel like going into this matchup. Balrog doesn't really need V-Skill 1 as much. I think V-Skill 2 might play off a little bit better to enforce some of those plus frames after a block dash punch to close the gap, right? So hopefully we get to see that, and maybe from Art, probably stick it out with the 1 set.
Yeah, interesting from FGCombo.com, which is a really good resource for seeing who played against who and who won against who. They're now doing some locals in there. So, for example...
thank God.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. It's actually really, really useful. FGCombo.com. Sabin beat Child last time Casa, they played in Casa.
At Casa, yeah, okay.
And that was 3-1, 3-2 in Grands. However, Child beat Art the last couple times before that.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of back and forth on this.
We see the NLBC. Even the NLBC results, that's what I'm talking about.
That's really useful. Again, check it out.
I know what I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm going to just be looking at all of this. Because I would go to like Dash Fight for the most part. They have like, the setup, the queue setup, which they do for this event as well. And then it breaks down like how many times they've played against each other, as well as like their previous records from past CPTs going into it. Just their overall win-loss record. So I love that.
Really
I love everybody that's been going out of their way to get all these results. It's been fantastic. You guys doing all the big time things, and we appreciate it.
Yo, V-Skill 2 for Arturo. That's awesome here as he gets that powered up.
Oh!
Not going to even see it yet,
that
projectile.
Far? Okay, well, V-Skill 1 is the choice for Child. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think that's important versus V-Skill 2. Oh, okay,
Yikes.
so the V-Skill is spent. Again, that powered up projectile. It bounces or it goes extra slow and has extra hits if it's the EX.
Oh, boy.
However, you don't get that same air mobility.
Man, and the plus frames after that, he's able to just dash up in your face. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is. Just laughing about it. It is.
Oh. And I'm kind of curious now. It's up to Child to see whether or not he wants to commit to going in. Yeah, and the fireball just backing him up just in case from Arturo with the V-Skill 2. Plus frames afterwards, just trying to keep it intact and keep Arturo in this corner. What an excellent trade. More so for Child. Let's go. The stun is racking up, trying to bait out a normal. It was a delayed one at that.
Oh, and Art actually gets the combo into pressure as Child roasts a little bit, but not too badly.
Oh, manages to get the side switch, but I mean, not too bad. Okay, I lied to you all. So we get to see more conversions coming from the V-Skill 1 more so than V-Skill 2, right? Coming from Child, as well as the corner carry, or even sneaking in a couple of surprises with the dash punch into the overhead. So far, Child making the V-Skill 1 work.
It's a chance for Art. He chooses pressure rather than V-Skill, and Child with a knockdown yet again. The idea is just to move in at all costs, spend the bar, spend the V-bar, wherever.
And I'm surprised Child gave up the opportunity for a plus frame situation to go into the mix of V-Skill 1. I feel like he just blocked afterwards, actually.
Still Art's turn. Child's down in life now. Gonna be tough to get. Oh, it's a chance!
Oh, again, missed opportunity from Child. Ooh. Oh, the snipe was coming. It was just a matter of which way it was gonna come. So either like the overhead or maybe like a low.
Yeah, overhead low mix-up. That was the implied threat, and he made good on it.
And that was so delayed too. He waited forever. Yeah. There was no way anybody was gonna guess that correctly.
Nice work by Arturo. I mean, look, again, I like a lot about what we're seeing from Boxer on Child's side. He's done a great job of being aware of like whether Arturo likes to jump out of a situation or press buttons in situations. It's just that a few times Art had his own offensive up-close mix-ups that really worked out. He got a counter hit, he got a throw, that kind of stuff worked out for him as well.
And you're seeing Child kind of overextend a little bit more as well with that V-Skill, right? There was a situation, just one in particular, where he had plus frames and opted to go for a mix-up instead, but didn't even press anything out of that mix-up. He didn't even try to go for the overhead. He literally went in and sat there.
Too early, oh no, for Child, who hasn't had too many chances yet.
And checking with the medium kicks, a plethora of normals, and now here comes Child, finding the opening up close. The block overhead is there. Arturo has been sensing that for a while and a good amount of damage. Looking at match point already.
Yeah, that was the quicker one. Oh. That's what I'm talking about. I really like the awareness that Child has to know whether Art's going to be in the sky. He gets his pressure. Looking for the fences.
Oh, big crush counter, gets a sweep after that. What an excellent choice for the V-break. I'm glad he committed to it. The roundhouse finding the mark, at least this time against Sabin. There's the sweep cooking up just a little bit.
Oh, what a call out.
Art!
Okay, here it comes from Child. Not plus frames on that, and there's Art. There's Art, aware of it. And
Man.
moving on.
Arturo is looking sick right now. Oh, what was it, 2-0?
Yes,
My
it
man.
was. Yes, it was. Good work. Good work. So that's going to be top 8 for Arturo, for NYC, Furby, for Sabin, whichever one of those you want to go for. He played great, that's for sure, in there. I liked a lot of what we saw. He's the first qualifier in the losers side.
I love to see it. With all the letters behind his name as well, been an affiliate with so many different people and so many different groups that he's been holding it down in the forefront for a lot of the Street Fighter V community-oriented stuff. I mean, he's been doing weeklies, participating in weeklies.
Oh, yeah.
So
Busy
many
man.
times over. This guy has been putting in that work.
Beast
And
Coast, Team Spooky, Maturino, NYC Furby. Busy man.
I just changed it to because the sponsors might ask. That's what I put it into. He's all of it, really. He's a man of many hats, and he's doing great work fighting himself into top 8. Yet again, very excited to see him tomorrow as we get ready for our next couple of matches after this break. It's actually Lazinoco versus Kami shortly after. But I do want to remind you guys, again, we have so many events going on in the realm of Street Fighter V, in particular with PlayStation. Again, go to compete.playstation.com to learn more about the PlayStation Tournament's Summer Win-a-thon event going on until August 31st throughout the entirety of the U.S. and Canada.
And I don't want any of you to forget about the Capcom Pro Tour 2021 theme song. I don't want any of you to forget about that. You can check out the details below.
Oh, right down here.
Right down there.
Down here?
That's where they are.
Absolutely. We've heard it a couple of times so far, and it's a nice nice little nostalgia hit.
Yeah, for sure.
If you ask me. When I hear those first couple of notes, I brace myself. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Was this all a fever dream?
I know,
Is
I
it
hear
still
you.
going?
I hear
But
you.
it is indeed the theme of the Capcom Cup 2021, and I'm glad to see it. And you guys should be too, man. Check it out down below. As we get ourselves ready for this quick break, we're going to go into the Lazinoco versus Kami matchup, as to continue to see who will advance into top 8 from the loser side. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more of the Capcom Cup.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand have turned to feast. So fight, time to fight. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are Street Fighters.
Dan Hibiki, back after the ultimate improvement. Father! Psycho! What's up, what's up? See ya. Psycho! The legend has now begun. Burn this in your memory! I've got no choice! I've got no choice! Knock you Psycho! Whoosha! To honor father, Big Bro will do his best.
fighters have to strike out on their own.
Let's do this!
We're going to be closing out the last few matches here at the CPT-NA East Top 16. We know most of the people who are going to be in Top 8. We've done winner's side already. We're good on those 4. We have done a couple of the losers side, but we still have more to go. Let's head to the brackets just to remind you all about what's going on.
And I did get a little bit excited about the matches, so much so that I said we were going back to the Capcom Cup. That's not entirely true. It's, in fact, the rest of the North American East Coast Qualifier number 1 with Lazinoco versus Kami coming up next. And then down below, you see Shine going up against Smug. That is an NLBC Classic, as well as Mandrake versus Metro M.
Got some good ones in there. Got a bunch of different characters. Got a few different regions. I think I may put it like that. NLBC is showing up big time here. It was not much of a surprise. At least classic NLBC. Some of those folks have moved elsewhere at this point. For Lazinoco versus Smug.
That's Florida versus pretty much New York. Yeah, Florida versus New York. Lazinoco. Oh, sorry, you were talking about Smug? Did you say Smug or Kami?
Oh, my bad. Did I get that one wrong? Could be. It is going to be Lazinoco versus Kami. My B. It's going to be Smug versus Shine, of course, after that. Yeah. Well, I mean, Kami's up there regardless. You know, he's somebody who I feel like has often been on the precipice of being one of the strongest players. You know, he's been there for a little while now. He is very talented and puts in a lot of work and has made deep runs into events. I want him to get that big W. You know, I think that's the only thing that I feel like he's still hunting for, and he's still in a great position to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we get to see Kami shine a little bit more often in some of these spotlights, because I think he deserves it. He's been putting in all that work. Even way before where we see him now, he was traveling to so many events and making big moves, and has found himself into Street Fighter League as well. So I would really, you know, on the same boat as David here, I would love to see him finally get into that past that barrier of becoming a top player and becoming like a super consistent one that we see in a top 3 scenario, more so than just, or even like top 8, more so than just a top 16, right? He's one away from getting into top 8, and we'll see if he can do it. It's going to be against Lazinoco's Gil, a name that's also been coming up a lot more often than not for Florida.
Congrats to Lazinoco, who wants us to know as well that he's a recent father.
Congratulations. That is a huge deal.
Super cool.
That's amazing to hear in the FGC. Congrats, man. Hopefully the fatherhood power-up comes in. It's coming for a lot of other folks in the FGC.
Really nice range there from Kami. And that spot where V-Skill is going to be effective, I guess he is already stored up. He's not going to get the one through Fireballs at this point. That actually might be better for Gil. That's a little funky. Now he can feel a little bit more confident, Ken Lazinoco, about doing stuff at that range.
I will say, I mean, Kami could let go of the V-Skill.
Oh, yeah.
Catching a Fireball, doing the knee drop, and being able to control it. Oh, yeah, big punish on the way out. Lazinoco being real antsy with those Lariats. That's 2 times over that he's given up the control in neutral for these Lariat openings.
The
what
defense!
A break.
Ooh.
Oh, man. And that was all he needed. Kami building a little bit of extra meter. Does he build meter off of the V-Skill usage? That I don't remember.
Super meter?
Yeah.
Wait, which character?
For Kami, so for Seth. Because he stored up the knee drop, right? And then he let it go as, like, you know, a little sequence to build meter. I didn't actually see if it built meter.
I think it does.
That's gross. I never really thought about that. Like, even if it whiffs, you know what I'm saying? Because it is a special move. Does it build actual EX meter?
Oh, you know what? I'm not sure, man. I'm not going to pretend to know that. I'm pretty sure it does on activation at least, though.
We'll see. We'll see. Oh, big parry. As, you know, pretty big gamble, I should say, because of the different ways that Seth can approach in the air. Dashing up twice, forward throw, even more presence in the corner now. Target combo incoming. What's going to be the option for Lazinoco? He broke out on defense one time before with the tech throw.
Oh, God.
My goodness. Oh, that could have been big.
Lazinoco being patient about the activation point. We saw him before. He was very intent on using it.
Oh, yeah, EX Mad Cradle. Yeah, the little bit of the frame kill to get even more. I feel like it's just to get the right spot for the EX Mad Cradle to hit more times.
Pretty good, looking really strong. Again, that forward momentum. I mean, I guess what I'm thinking back to maybe as a potential spot for Gil there was in the corner when he had, you know, Kami stuck there. Maybe that was a chance to activate and create pressure. But other than that, for the most part, I really like the mid-range stuff into pressure kind of game that we're seeing out of Kami. It's being very effective. Yeah, that spot right there has been really strong for him.
Ooh, the call out on the movement. This is so cool to see. I'm liking the usage of the V-Skill and knowing that route. Kami already pushing Lazinoco to the corner where there's been a lot of damage coming in from these throws and the mix-up from the air. Yet again, Kami is going to be sitting on a perfect for this one without a doubt. Crouching jab into Mad Cradle. You already know what it is. Saving the meter, putting himself at match point. What a start for Kami.
He looks really, really good. Yeah, and threatening to make it into the top 8. That's the range where he's been so successful.
Again, playing that kind of range, testing Lazinoco. And yeah, he went for a jump, a neutral jump, in anticipation of the V-Skill that didn't come.
God, all these little buttons are adding up. And the range there as he had backed off outside of Lazinoco's range.
Oh.
Kami's getting everything right.
Man, that is
let's
so
go.
sick. We were just waiting to see what the stun situation was going to be.
Into plus
frames.
frames. Oh, wow. Had the same idea. Now Lazinoco's looking for the activation point. He finds it.
There's a retribution. Flame Javelin afterwards. 3 dashes for the Oki. Try to catch a button, but Kami already full aware that he's going to interrupt. Oh my god, that's disgusting. That is gross. That was actually gross.
Man, that's really strong and good and cool, but like very good.
You're stuck there. You're absolutely stuck there. What are you supposed to do? You have to hold that.
Right. I mean, you have to take the mix up. It's true. It's true. I like so much about what we saw from Kami as he makes top 8. His again the mid range stuff, backing off to get. Not whiff punishes exactly, but to pester with V-Skill at a range where he knows that he's basically safe in doing it, barring like big call out from his opponent. And that kind of stuff, that mid-range into pressure worked out super well for him. The standing reset ender on the combo into plus frames was very cool.
Chef's kiss. That was very, very nice.
I'm really impressed with his play as he makes top 8. You know, the only person who has beaten Kami so far, he's only had 1 loss, and that was to Punk. And that's one of the best players in the world right there. So that's, you know, he doesn't want to lose to anybody, of course. But if you're going to lose to somebody, hey, Punk. So he makes top 8. It will be NYC Furby versus Kami in top 8 losers side, round number 1.
And it's going to be very interesting to see because we've seen Kami in these spotlights against top players where he doesn't have like the same kind of success he does going through like the rest of the bracket. I feel like it's just like a confidence issue. But most of the time, Kami, again, he has the right decisions majority of the time. But when it comes to like towards like the end where it's actually kind of tougher to call out, you're trying to get these resets going, trying to get these plus scenarios going. There's going to be those players that just know exactly how to counter you, and we haven't seen them really kind of like rise above and beyond that. But we'll see how that works out into the top 8. Moving on to the next one, Smug versus Shine. This is the NLBC Classic, as you mentioned earlier. A little bit different this time as Smug is no longer in the state of New York, but it's going to be possibly G versus maybe the Cody, because we've already seen Shine being knocked into losers from Punk in that matchup. It was like Cody versus Vega. But is Shine going to exercise that option again, or will he just go straight forward into Ibuki?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I thought that was interesting to see. Again, we talked about that when it was Shine versus Punk. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if you're going to do that in the qualifying to top 8 winners side match. I wouldn't be surprised to see that come out in any other situation either.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to see how it plays out. More so often than not, I think Smug is going to be staying solid with the G pick for the most part. We haven't seen anything too big of a blow up when it came to Z's Nuts. Honestly, he was just playing that out, and that's the character he's been sticking with for so long. I don't think it's going to be a bad bet against either character, Cody nor Ibuki. So we'll see how it plays out.
Okay. Well, they've been really back and forth.
Okay.
Oh, it is Ibuki, actually. Well, I mean, you know, it's fine
Swing and a
anyway.
miss.
Ibuki versus Balrog rather than exactly the opposite we were talking about. You know, whatever, that happens sometimes. Again, really back and forth when it comes to can opener, when it comes to NLBC. Always hard to call this one.
So going for the V set 2 for Smug, which is exactly what I was looking forward to. I want to see how he's going to implement that V skill 2 usage, when he's actually going to get it up, and also what he's going to do with that V trigger 2 with command grabs. He's been playing a lot of command grabs lately, but Shine doesn't give a damn currently.
Sweep. Trying to chase, he wasn't there, and
Man.
Shine actually didn't get a good punish on it.
Didn't get a punish at all. Onto the same side, that was very tricky for the anti-air. Shine still hanging in there. Actually doing just fine. Does have trigger on deck. We might see an EX kunai into activation. You thought it was your turn? Not quite. Not after that route. It's totally different in frame data when it comes from an EX kunai.
Yeah, I love the chase down that we saw from Shine. It wasn't anything that was too wild, but it was like this, moving forward very, very consistently.
On the same side, great block there from Smuggington.
Keeping himself safe, walking up a little bit, but other than that, again, it's moving forward without being too committal.
Oh,
great
yeah.
catch.
Trying to seal away a turn. Shine 100% ready for that. Counter hit just poking away. Doesn't have to do anything fancy, but here comes Smug. What's the setup? V trigger 2. The stun is there. Look at how much stun that built up. That could have been extremely dangerous had Shine succumbed to another V trigger 2 activation. That would have been stun, possibly into the game.
Could be, but instead, Shine, again, his forward movement was great. Yeah, he got that one moment, but other than that, the couple times when he needed defense, the defense was there. He reacted. It wasn't just like guessing right on wake up, but it was like, oh, Smug's trying to move forward. He caught that forward movement with his own button on reaction, right? So his defense is looking really good.
Overall, the complete package here coming out from Shine. Smug on the back end with, again, the deficit. It's 1-0 in terms of games for Shine. A lot more activity coming from the normals of Smug, actually. We saw a lot more crouch medium punches and standing fierce and stand heavy punch against Shine.
Okay, the awareness there from Smug to get the check, get the damage, and back off.
Oh. EX kunai keeping the plus frames alive. That was such a good link.
Oh, Shine knows when it's his turn. So strong.
Ooh.
Oh! Buttons
Again,
again.
waking
He's
up
just
with
not letting
buttons.
Smug get away with any of that stuff.
And
Smug again trying to move in. No!
Shine is making it hurt completely. Anytime Smug tries to steal away from Shine, he's always been alert and keen to the choices he's making, right? Whether it's a throw, whether it's the target combo. Shine has made it hurt for Smug every single time, and it's just, when are we going to see Smug tighten it up?
Tough to make those decisions, that's for sure. Okay, the knockdown. Oh, he would rather get the V skill going. It's something we haven't seen too often. Oh, can he make it count? Because here again is Shine.
What a counter poke, too, from that far away. Making that decision to lower forward. Yeah, it's going to be super plus.
Reset. Oh, hoping to see movement from Shine instead. Smug now full corner control for the very first time.
Boss frames as well. The stun is a factor. Hence why we see Shine really sitting there for the blocks, but man, too far out of there. It's going to be huge.
Ooh, what a
block.
Shine walking for what a neutral jump call out at just the right moment by Smug. First big defensive call out that we've seen work out for him.
And how did he know? Like, of all things it could have gone to.
They played each other before a couple of times.
Maybe. That may be the case, David. Oh, okay. Just out of range of that roundhouse. Getting the sweep. Forward roundhouse, excuse me. Just letting some of the normals fly. I like that on the way down. Checking to see if the kunai was going to hit. Ooh.
Smug just kind of tanking it right there. He has walked up to this spot. Oh. And then kind of waited.
And I'm surprised he hasn't tried to whiff punish it, right? I mean, he's still well within range to hit it. Oh, boy. And here comes the onslaught of Smuggles. Oh, boy. Shine with the side switch, baiting out the V-shift. Here comes the kunai. There's going to be a back medium reset.
Still got him. Shine and stun. And he just wanted to get away. What a genius. He got the kunais back. He got away. And now he needs one more.
Oh, that could have been dangerous again.
The hit was there. The hit was there for Smug. And he didn't get anything out of it. So unlike him to miss that opportunity right there. It's not easy to always get the reaction to your hit confirms, but it's something that you look for from Smug, and that's going to be a big part of why he ends up losing and getting eliminated here.
It's hard to see that coming out from someone like Smug because of how solid we're so used to seeing him play at the kind of levels he's played at. But man, there's so many times where he's tried to steal turns, missed opportunities for meaties. It's weird. It really is weird. I'm not gonna lie. Shine still moving on into top 8, and in a very convincing fashion, 2-0. Ensuring that Smug never steals again, pretty much, for the rest of this tournament. We're going to be moving on into DR Mandrake and Metro M for the finale of Top 16 to solidify who makes it to tomorrow. And this is going to be pretty interesting. Mandrake, hailing from Florida, Metro M from Maryland, is going to be Urian versus Vega. And Urian we've seen a lot as of late, especially in CPT, just in general overall throughout this year. I think he's in a really solid spot. Easily one of the best characters, I feel like, at least within top 8 discussion.
Sure. I think that's absolutely right. Yeah, he's very, very strong. Earlier in the season, we saw people switching to him, in fact. And since then, he's gotten nerfed like a very little bit. It's not that big of a deal. So he's still definitely one of the better characters in the game. I do agree with that. As far as these players' matchups, again, shout-outs to fgcombo.com for recording locals. They've been playing on MetaView Monday, for example, and that's been back and forth. It was 2-0 last time for Metro M, and it was 3-2 before that for Mandrake.
How interesting. Yeah, I'm just looking at the full sheet. It's been completely back and forth. They've been getting the better half of each other. Yeah, literally like down the line. Yeah, for an entire year. Yeah. These cats have been going at it. Now it's just going to be who plays better today. I think that's what's the matchup's going to be, and it's Urian versus Vegas. So again, no strangers to dangers against each other, and it's completely unpredictable. Mandrake having a very great performance overall from last year's season's final, making it all the way to that big dance. Metro M we haven't seen in that upper echelon too often, but has made a lot of waves actually this year. So
yeah, I mean, he was in top 8 of CPT NA East last year, for example. So he's made deep runs, and either way, it would be cool to have one of these characters in here. We have Sakura or Seth, Punk with who knows what, iDrop, probably Karen, Idom, Laura, etc., etc. We'll talk about the rest as this is loading up now. Vega versus Urian, of course, no surprise.
So yeah, looking at it, the only repeat we have is Karen? Potentially?
Only potentially, yeah.
Potentially, yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. So here we go. Vega with a full Matador outfit. I love, that's one of my favorites, honestly.
Yeah, here on his European vacation, it's a very appropriate outfit.
Ooh. Man, too soon, man. European vacations, don't talk to me about that. Right?
You weren't on vacation. You were working, buddy.
Shout outs to Poland. Here we go. Metro M, again, having a great, fantastic start in terms of the neutral, right? Yes, I like that. But the V-skill still comes out from the side of Mandrake, right? He stored it in the bottom right. Metallic Sphere enhanced to steal away that neutral to keep Vega scared. I feel like you could throw like a normal out to force the activation of the fireball early and not have to fear the approach from Urian. Man, what a buffer. That was sick. Was that
so
a buffer
strong.
or was that a counter poke?
I mean, he knew what was coming up. Metro M is stuck. Big plus frames. Mandrake backs off slightly, maybe expecting jump, who knows, but not punished.
Not at all. Oh, you're dead. You're actually dead. That's what happens. As even though he missed the slide punish, still got the full conversion off the Aegis effect there. Fortunate for Mandrake. The jacket's off.
It's getting hot here in this unknown European city, somewhere in maybe Italy? I don't know.
It's definitely Italy. 100%.
Okay. I don't know.
That's where Rose is from.
I have no idea. I'm just going to take your word for it, bud.
It is.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I don't know.
I know, but I'm telling you guys right now it is.
All right. Well, anyway, if this is Italy, it's got Urian pressuring in the corner. Stuck in backdash
What
was
a
right.
backdash. Being able to get that read, man. Metro M all over it, spending it. I won't say nice and early, but it's going to give him a pretty good positioning afterwards. Dashing up to Oki. Man, jump back is the move, huh?
Hoping to see a button there was Mandrake. Instead, it's Metro gets the knockdown.
Oh.
Metro. Okay. I mean, Mandrake's cool with that.
Absolutely.
No activation.
No activation off the low medium kick. That could have been huge. Just ran into it, tried to V-skill your way out of that.
This is actually working out for Mandrake, though. He's getting some chip damage over time. Occasionally hits. The claw is off.
Oh, boy.
And he's out of there. What a chase! Oh my
Jesus.
God! From Mandrake, who knew exactly what was coming up. What a specific call-out read to take that game from Mandrake. That was super clean from him.
Superb reads there coming up from Metro M, man. He's had a lot of those reads actually against the likes of Metro M. There has been one way before that where he opted to jump out immediately after the critical art, just kind of anticipating maybe a grab or maybe like a command grab at that because he was out of claw stance. But for the most part, that chase down, you already know he was deep within Metro M's mind.
Oh yeah, that was gorgeous. Ooh. So this kind of distance game, it's something that I imagine that I feel like Vega's good at. Keeping these ranges where he can whiff punish, where he can conceivably get through fireballs or over fireballs, and yet, nevertheless, Mandrake's been pressuring from that spot and had so much success, continuing to do so.
Oh boy. Comes Mandrake, power bomb, sits him down. Coral punch afterwards, 50 test for Metro. Crush counter on the other side. The V-shift is there either way. Mandrake is still maintaining this momentum. Caught the dash forward with the slide. Full on conversion now. Ugh.
Ooh. Into
grab
not
is
much. Mandrake stealing his way out of the corner. Trying to walk back to the middle of Venice.
Yes.
And the mix-up here. Ah, okay, finally making it work.
One solid hit from Metro M could actually lead to death considering the fact that he has V-trigger on deck. That could have been it. There it is. He was looking for the activation on the V-skill. Perfect from Metro M. A little sloppy from the side of DR Mandrake. You have to be fully aware that Metro M was looking for that V-trigger activation. And now busting out with an EX tackle. No longer your turn. Metro M trying to reset the positioning as well as getting some of the chip damage. The crush counter. Catching at the anti-air. Oh, crush counter yet again. Pursuing after the rolling crystal flash. No whiff punish on the handshake.
That stun's still pretty high. Okay, Mandrake. Maybe at a risk now, at least immediate risk.
Oh,
What happened?
claw,
When
that
then
was
only
wrong.
the shoulder? Okay, well, Mandrake's pressuring. I mean, it was a little wild for a while.
It could have been a little bit more. Could have been a little bit wilder, right? That's not the case. Again, here comes Mandrake busting out with an EX tackle, but still no trigger behind it. I wonder if he's going to attempt to go for the V-skill too. No obstacle in! That was such a delayed medium punch. Throw is going to be more than enough, and it's going to be just that. The fake tick is what it was. Mandrake setting it up with stand jab, and you saw Metro get hit by it, right? That pretty much sat him down. I feel like movement was the option at the beginning, and Mandrake going for the throw bait. But here comes Metro M fully swinging.
Spending a bunch of cash on this stuff into a situation where he's very close to getting the stun. Jumping. Metro's got it. Show me your best. Oh, that character can definitely pump it out even meterlessly in the right situation. He is threatening to get a perfect. Mandrake in big trouble.
Oh, the EX headbutt. This could be all downhill for Metro M. Can he survive the onside of the corner? That was so slick. What was the normal? I missed the normal that Mandrake threw out.
Crouching medium kick. was
and it just
trying-
whiffed on the way over, right?
Mhm,
Okay, I'm glad I saw that. I was going to say, Metro M just finding the right positioning or the right spacing, the right time.
sure.
That was very, very lucky. That could have been dire afterwards.
I think he may have been looking to counterpoke that. I mean, that's the button that you press if you're trying to counterpoke something that's low like that. It may have just been a specific call. And both players have had that kind of thing against each other of like knowing exactly what's going to come up next.
Yeah, I would have thought that would have been like, you know, the call out from further out, but not immediately after dashing. Like, you're still going to get the punish after that? That is quick. Very good call out there from Metro M, tying it all up 1-1. Ooh. See the deliberate delay on the normals, trying to catch any sort of normal from Metro M.
Nah, Metro's just hanging out in that mid-range. And down in life,
Whew,
that's
you
been so
know.
consistent.
You already know he's been buffering away with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this corner positioning. Sky High Claw, just a bust out of the corner, but he needs to make more out of that, right? The slide, just a little bit too far off the mark.
Mandrake still with a significant life lead, and this mid-range play has been good for Metro M, but he's going to have to get back in, it looks like at least. Oh,
Man.
dude, these counterpokes are sick.
But is it going to be enough? No, try to catch a button or even any sort of movement from Mandrake. This is going to be more than enough. Into the Aegis Reflector. At least 2 more hits after that. Yep. Going into match point now. Something to note, again, 2.5 bars on the side of Mandrake. Is he going to bust out with any sort of EXs, or is he going to play that kind of buffer game again against Metro M?
He's been really confident in that mid-range. And now he moves in, forces his way there. Only a little bit of damage.
A lot more mediums. Nothing behind it on that one.
Yeah.
Mandrake didn't have the buffer ready.
But I still am really impressed that he uses the medium punch like that from range. He's counterpoking versus Vega well.
Oh, Jesus.
Right?
You can hear how plus it is. That's what it sounds like. It just rattles in your ears. Ooh, just runs into it. Metro M, you would think he would probably hit with like any of the normals, but dashing it wasn't the option. That was so
Here
slick.
we go. Oh, pressuring here. Will he move forward? Mandrake's there for the catch.
It's so funny seeing these 2 hits and like the straight low medium kick without any mirror behind it. He's just a little bit far off. Not even going to rely on the mirror activation because he doesn't have it yet, right? He's just hitting with straight normals.
Now with that trigger and that super, I mean, if he finds the right hit, he can take it. Still, he's not going to get it. Mandrake backdashes again, knowing exactly what's going to come up next. Outside of the range of sweep into trigger, activate on block,
Man.
right, would have been fine. Instead, didn't even get a chance to do it on block as Mandrake knew what was coming, backdashed out of the range, and got the whiff punish to punch his ticket into the top 8 for tomorrow.
Congratulations to Mandrake as well as Metro M for making it this far
Yeah.
into the second round of top 16 from the losers side. But I got to say, that was absolutely impressive from Mandrake, making all the right reads. And the first time we've really seen Urian not have to rely on Aegis Reflector to take the round. He was more than capable of doing so, right? He was throwing out a lot of these normals that were bufferable to catch Metro M in places where he shouldn't be. And that's the first time I've really seen Urian kind of win that neutral game against the normals that Vega has, right? It's very difficult to control.
Yeah.
And again, shout outs to Mandrake for not only knowing the matchup, but knowing exactly how Metro M wants to play, because that in and of itself is an impressive feat. Out-normaling, out-ranging, and out-footseeing a character like Vega with Urian,
I'm with you.
pretty slick,
That was
pretty
very,
impressive.
very good stuff. So let's just briefly show you what the top 8 is here as we are moving in. Reminder of who just made it through on losers side. So it'll be NYC Furby, BC, TS, MA, NYC Furby versus UYU Kami. And then on the other side will be END Shine versus DR Mandrake. Again, that's the losers. And then here's the lineup for tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. You see the winner semifinals up above on the left. Spaceboy versus Punk to start us off. Both very aggressive players, or at least Punk can be. We're going to see which one shows up today, or tomorrow, I should say. Then Battle of the Eyes is going to be Idom versus Idom, which is going to be shortly after. And then down below, Mandrake versus Shine, and Kami versus NYC Furby, a.k.a. Arturo Sanchez, a.k.a. Sabin. It all goes down tomorrow for the top 8. That pretty much sums up our top 16. We're going to go ahead and go into what really transpired, just in case you missed it, in some of our favorite moments shortly after a quick break. We want to remind you guys that there's been so much Street Fighter V action going on, and that it continues as well with PlayStation. Again, check out compete.playstation.com for the Open Series Summer Win-a-thon. That's going to be going on until August 31st, available for players in the US as well as Canada. Again, there's been so many events that PlayStation's been throwing down, and we hope you guys can join us for it as well as participate, because that's, you know, only one of the best ways to level up is compete in as many tournaments as you can, I feel like, especially with the current environment.
Let's all play video games, everybody. It's a lot of fun. Another game that you can play is Street Fighter Duel, which is available for download in China and will be soon for everybody else as well. In it, you can follow Ryu, Chun-Li, and others to explore the mysterious organization, experience the classic stories with all your fighters, and recall your memories of the original Street Fighter. Counter, stun, combo, super. It's got an impressive array of fighting elements and innovative multiplayer combos for a new battle experience that challenges your strategy and control, as well as a variety of PvP gameplays and tournaments. It's got in-game rewards. Check it out on mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now and join the journey. So we are, as Vicious said, going to take a brief break. We'll be back soon to talk more about how we think this top 8's going to go.
Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand after defeat. So fly, time to fly. Glory waits for those who fight. We unite, we are street fighters.
Welcome to the centre of the world. Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
This country is incredible. I will become a lawyer. I have to.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Who are you? Herlock Sholmes. You must have heard of me.
We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san.
Let us engage in the art of deduction, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, what have we here? It would seem the truth is now tantalizingly close.
The defense demands its right to a cross-examination. Objection! Your testimony completely contradicts the facts.
Objection! My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage!
You're the best lawyer in the world.
our top 8 has been established for the North American East region for our first qualifier here at the Capcom Pro Tour 2021. Now it's time to talk about what transpired and how we even got there with our top 16 recap. Again, thank you all for joining us up until this point. We do appreciate you. And again, we hope you guys have enjoyed some of the matches that we've seen. It's been very interesting to see what the setup is so far. We saw some of the bracket as well earlier before the break, just to kind of remind you. Hopefully we can pull that up. Can we? Do we have the magic to do so? Maybe. Boom! That's what I'm talking about. Production on point. We saw what happened between Mandrake and Spaceboy, the kind of aggression as expected, even with that Seth. Talk to me a little bit about that, because again, Mandrake was expecting the Seth pick and actually got it, said he was ready for it, but the results say otherwise.
Yeah, I think the thing that springs to my mind is that aggression, that it was that mid-range into pressure that I think really, really worked out well for Spaceboy. I think that's something that Seth's really good at. So I liked a lot what we saw out of Spaceboy. You know, Mandrake is still very good. Obviously made top 8 on the losers side, and that was a close one. You know, some of these were, I would say, not as close, but that one is one that sticks out in my mind as a very interesting match. For Shine versus Punk, again, that's a match that we've seen many times in other events, especially in locals. To remind you guys, right, it was Shine, not Ibuki, but Cody, and it was Punk, not with whatever character.
Karen, Seth,
yeah, it's,
whatever,
etc. Yeah, but instead with Vega. So I thought that was a very interesting one to watch. Again, I do not at all think it's the case that like they're like having fun and whatever, you know, picking whatever it is to play against their buddy. I think that was, you know, a match that they had thought about and went in with characters who they thought that they could really win with, and Punk did. So it'll be Punk versus Spaceboy.
And then we saw, Lazinoco versus iDrop, Gil versus Karen. We saw Lazinoco, who we've seen the potential out of him already before even like the top 16. If you're looking closely at Smash GG, you were looking that he was one of the ones that knocked Smug, you know, longtime favorite in NA, into losers bracket. So we've seen the potential straight out the gate from that, but iDrop just completely dominating it. 2-0, and if you looked at the rounds themselves, it looked like he was just completely ready for the matchup. It looked like an uphill battle for Lazinoco. Gil versus Karen, not being able to outrange or at least outclass Karen in the neutral game. That was pretty much the tail of the tape. Then we saw Idom versus Child, another 2-0 swing. And what happened there?
Well, that was Idom just having the kind of matches that he has, where he knows exactly where to place that thunderclap. He knows exactly when to try to take a turn back. He knows exactly when you think it's time to steal a turn against him. It's just all really classic stuff that Idom is one of the best at. And he moved on into winners top 8, which we'll talk about in a little bit before we talk about, or after we talk about the rest of this top 16. We'll go down to the losers side here. Which matches in this first round really stuck out to you?
Easily, Flux Waves versus Metro M. As you can hear, if you check out the VODs, this is the one we were most excited about, I feel like, in terms of the actual matchup that transpired. I was waiting to see if Flux Waves was going to transfer over to that poison, but the adaptation that Metro had against the specific strategies that Flux Waves was showing out with that Mika was super impressive. I feel like that was easily one of the best matches we could have had for round 1, even more so in the second round. I mean, maybe like a close second with like Mandrake versus Metro M. Still could have gone to the wire. But as you can see, it's been a complete shutout throughout the entirety of round 1. 2-0s everywhere, as well as in round 2, 2-0s everywhere. So easily, I think the ones that were 2-1, I will say, have been the most exciting.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think the one that I would raise is probably Z's Nuts versus Smug. I thought that was just really interesting by Smug in terms of how he bulldogged through it. I always like watching that kind of game plan. For me, it's super cool to watch. Yeah, I think I would agree. I really liked watching Flux Waves and Mandrake play versus Metro M. But yeah, a lot of good stuff in there. We saw a lot of different characters today. We saw players all the way from Southern Florida up to Montreal and Canada. So we had a great representation with a bunch of different people in here. Congrats to everybody who did make the top 16. But yeah, let's talk about that top 8 for tomorrow.
Yeah, Arturo pretty much taken down 2-0 every single time. Like he was sent into losers, or he was already into losers bracket, had complete dominance. So I'm not surprised to see him in the position he's at right now, going up against Kami, who is also making a giant run from losers bracket, continuing that streak. Then you see up above, I kind of went out of order here, but for a good reason, right? Mandrake, again, was sent down from the winner's side, as was Shine with his run against Punk, right? So both of these players facing off against each other, coming in from the winner's side, getting knocked down pretty much into losers and making that run there.
Yeah, and in looking at their matches on FGCombo.com, there's a lot of back and forth stuff when it comes to Mandrake versus shine. They have played quite a few times in.
I don't know. It's looking a lot of green for the side of.
Well, the most
Shine.
recent one is actually Mandrake winning 2-0 at NLBC.
Interesting.
Before that, yeah, you're right. There's a bunch of shine, but then there's a little bit of action from Mandrake too. So that'll be interesting. As far as the other one, NYC Furby versus Kami, there's even more back and forth. I mean, these are two players who have played a lot, of course, up in the Northeast and have a lot of experience against each other. That is, for me, going to be one to really watch. I just think that both of those players are two people who have very, very strong, very skilled styles, very practiced, and for me are both really, really fun players to watch too. So that'll be cool. Talking about the winner's side.
Let's address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
I'm going to go right into it, right?
Okay.
Spaceboy versus Punk, cool. Idom versus Idom, cool also. But what if it happens to be Idom versus Punk in the winner's finals?
Okay.
We've seen a lot of tension going on between these two players for the last couple of events. Punk not too satisfied with his results in his matchups against Idom and has been very verbal about it. Idom, on the other hand, has just been like, you know what? I'm just playing my game. I kind of want to know what's going to happen this time around. Punk actually managed to move himself up into Philadelphia for these games for the best possible connection, right? I'm just curious to see how it's going to turn out and pretty much which version of Punk is going to come out to play.
Well, what do you think the chances are that is the winner's finals match?
I mean, Spaceboy has been doing a phenomenal job aggressively, but I think a different side of Punk, it's going to be pure tournament caliber Punk right off the bat, right? It's not going to be one of those things where he's testing out the waters against Spaceboy. He's been dominating him for quite some time. When I'm looking at the results that David's pulling up, it's been nothing but 2-0s. It's been nothing but victories for the side of Punk. So without a doubt in my mind, I feel like tournament Punk coming out to play is going to happen out way earlier because he sees what could potentially be, which is going to be the run back against Idom. However, we're looking at Idom versus iDrop. It looks like iDrop, the last time they met, kept it relatively close at NLBC. It was 2-1. But I'm sure Idom is feeling the same way, right? It's going to be that classic rivalry between Idom and Punk. I don't even know if you could really call it like a rivalry. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty sure you can.
Look, I mean, to be perfectly frank, I do think that it's pretty likely that we're going to get Punk versus Idom in that winner's finals. I think these are the two best players when it comes to the whole region, and they're two of the best players on the entire globe. So I don't know that I'm not surprised, right, that this is a big potential that we're going to have. I think it'd be very interesting, right? We're all rooting for interesting, close matches, and Spaceboy and iDrop are both very good.
Without a doubt.
Totally capable of upsets like that. But I think, to be frank, that it would be upsets. So yeah, I'm looking for Idom versus Punk in that winner's finals, which is interesting both because of the recent stuff that you're talking about, but also just because they are two players who have had a long history of playing against each other, including in the absolute highest profile stuff when it comes to Capcom Cup. And many, many matches aside from that. They both have absolute mastery of a couple of different characters, so it could be different matchups as well. To me, that's one that I would really look forward to if that is what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's just me kind of being excited for it because it's like watching two Street Fighter V gods play. I feel like at this point, Punk is one of the NA gods alongside Idom, and just seeing that potential matchup happen, of course you're going to get excited for it. It's not to throw shade at the other players that have been going through it, right? We see iDrop and Spaceboy really make their rounds, and again, as you mentioned, they are pretty much considered the underdog here because let's be honest, Punk and Idom have very, very impressive records, and they even shown it on paper that they're able to defeat their first round opponents. But if it happens, it happens, and I'm excited for it either way. So hopefully, you know, things go out for Spaceboy and iDrop.
It would be cool to see, of course.
And that'd be cool. That'd be cool to see.
It would be.
That as a winners finals. That would be even better because it puts the other two down to their last shot in the tournament, and that would be cool. That'd be sick.
There's a lot of interesting potential, of course. I think what I would say is that it seems to me that Spaceboy is on such a big swing up. Has been good for a long time, but is like really on that swing up now. So I think for me that's the more likely one. But again, a lot of good stuff to look forward to tomorrow in the top 8. Look, dude, no surprise that NA East would bring a lot of strong competitors and a lot of different characters from all over the region. That's exactly what we expected, and it's what we find in that top 8.
Yeah, so you pretty much know how it's going to unfold. We have our top 8. We've already said our things, our opinions on what we could expect and what we're excited for, and hopefully you guys can express that same opinion. Let us know. You can find us at our handles down below. Boom! At Ultra David as well as at Vicious FGC. Let us know how you're feeling about the NA East qualifier. And until then, we do thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll see you all at the same time tomorrow for the continuation of this qualifier here at the Capcom Pro Tour. Take care.